we're starting round 2. So where did we leave the conversation? We have 2 new additions to the party. Welcome back to Hot Topics. I'm your host, Nina Simone, and we have in the studio Chef Aaron, aka Don.
No, we're not doing that.
Otis is still here. We have Glenda again. Molly has entered the building. Hello, Molly. Hi. And Simone. Hello, Simone.
Hey.
Hello. So before we all just introduce ourselves and I guess a little bit about our relationship status and where we're at with the dating game. So feel free to introduce yourself and your stance on being a woman in a modern society.
So I'm Simone. Being a woman in a modern society, well, I feel like the dating pool is kind of trash. I mean, I'm someone who goes out, not clubbing, but I go to lots of networking events. I meet like so many people constantly every single week. And like the options just aren't that great. Like I feel like if I'm meeting that many people, I mean, I even decided to use my Instagram, like having people follow me so I could work out how many people I'd met. I met like 250 people in the last 6 months.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. And it's not giving.
But are you looking for something though?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I am looking for something. I mean, what's my status? Technically being ghosted, or maybe I know, or maybe.
Sorry, short laugh.
Now I'm gonna sacrifice one of my flowers.
And Simone doesn't even have children.
I don't want a pity flower.
No, we're not doing victims. We're doing warriors.
Sorry
Exactly.
for the delivery though. You said it.
I know, but I guess it's been so long now. It's over. It's not even ghosted. It's just like out the door. But yeah, that was really confusing because he was really communicative about his needs, and he had like a death in his family and said he needed to take time away. Was always really talkative, really considerate, and then just disappeared. And it made no sense. We took a break because he wanted to focus on grieving, and then he came back. Well, we didn't take a break. We basically said we're going to stop dating. Then he came back and said, I still want to see you. And then he disappeared again.
Wow.
After we were supposed to meet up, he cancelled because he had work, and I haven't heard from him since.
Yeah, my guy's
How long ago was
confused.
That was July.
Oh, he's got a girl. Maybe he has a girl.
Do you know what I mean?
Sometimes
Did
it
you
could
mean-
be a mental health breakdown, and
Yeah.
sometimes guys just don't know how to explain to a girl.
It
It's
might
like,
also
my
be
head's
pressure
fried
sometimes.
and I can't deal with it. Oh yeah, guys can't always just explain to a girl like how the head's gone, and it's like, what do I even say? Sometimes it's better to, not better, it's easier to just not say anything and kind of just.
Slow puff and keep your
How long was you seeing each other?
reputation
Don't
intact.
mind me asking.
How long is he seeing each other? So since the start of the year till
So about
July
6 months.
Yeah, about 6 months.
So was it intense? Was it an intense 6 months? Or was
It wasn't
quite chilled?
intense. It was going at a good pace. Like, I was excited to see where things were going.
Yeah.
We were literally supposed to meet up. He has a job that was like quite demanding, and sometimes he has to work out of hours, and then he just had a promotion. So we were literally supposed to meet up. He called last minute and said, I've been called into work, so I can't see you. We'll rearrange. And the rearrangement never came.
Never happened.
It
Like-
sounds like he's got a lot to navigate. I mean, like
Yeah.
you said, he's had a grief to deal. Well, someone passed away in his family. Like, how does one deal with that anyway? But then also promotion. That's new boundaries, new areas, and then I think it sounds like he's struggling to juggle life in general.
Yeah,
maybe.
for me, I'm just like, I'm not even going to bother try to guess what happened, because it could be anything and I wouldn't know.
If you wanted
At the
to,
end of the day, if you
Exactly,
want what you want.
like
But
I
don't you
gave
think that's because he's trying to save face as a man? He's trying to protect
Do you know
his
what? I was in a similar
identity.
situation.
It's true.
I was actually ghosted years ago, but that's not the similar situation. The similar situation I was in is I was seeing some girl for a while, and it felt a little bit forced. She was doing things that I kind of thought, like, this is what we do, we was together, but we're not officially together, so why are you doing these things? And then, do you know what, in fairness, after I kind of like cut things off, I did reach out to her like months later saying, hope you're okay, this is why I disappeared, whatever. So technically I only semi-ghosted her. But point I'm trying to make is, the reason I dipped off is because it was getting weird for me, to the point where we started off nice and it was really casual, and then it got to the point where she'd be arranging things for us to do, which is nice, but then also I've got businesses to run, I've got things to do, so I kind of felt obliged all the time. I felt like it's moving a bit too quick for my liking, and even if I tried to explain that, it's going to turn into a conversation where she'd be hurt or and it turn into something.
Because you didn't do it, you'll never know.
Yeah,
she
but the
could have
thing
been
is,
really understanding, but you'd never know.
Yeah, but
because
also
you
the
didn't
reason
communicate.
the reason I didn't do it is because the reality of it is I didn't want to take it to that stage with her, anyways.
Right.
Oy.
So
That's the bottom line.
So
That is bottom
yeah,
line.
The bottom line.
It's a hard one explaining that. Especially when you've been around.
Yeah, it's hard to explain it. Like sometimes it ain't working. I'm not interested.
Yeah, but that's like part of being an adult, isn't it? Like if you're a considerate person, I think you should consider how it feels. Because like outside of a relationship, that's my friend. Like we've spent loads of time together. We've chilled, whatever.
That's a harder one.
And then, do you know what I mean? And then you've just disappeared. It's like, it's not just a relationship thing. It's like we actually
Well,
had
who's your friend? Have you got like mutual friends and do they see him?
No, we don't have any mutual friends that I know of. But it's just the fact that like we built something up that was credible, even if it wasn't a relationship. And it's disrespectful.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it's about
You
trust.
deserve more.
I think all foundations
exactly.
are
You
built
can't
on
just
trust.
dip out of someone's life without explanation. Like when he first had the death, he disappeared for 2 weeks, and I was like, okay. But then he came back and said, "This just happened out of
It's
nowhere."
something you can't argue with as well. I'm
It's
not being
true.
funny,
I wasn't-
but it's a death, isn't it? And
Yeah,
it's
like, I
I
didn't
can't
have-
argue with that. But
I didn't have a problem with it.
But if I lost somebody and I'd experienced a death, I feel like the person that I'm entangled with romantically, I would want to be able to share that with them.
Entangled, you know, can't leave that word
Exactly,
still
like-
getting about.
It's true. Like my energy and your energy is
Entangled,
entwining.
innit?
Okay, entwined. I'll use entwined. But if that was me and I'd lost somebody, like I've been dating lately, and there was 2 people I was dating within a window, and I'm like, okay.
At the same time, same window.
Yeah, it was the same window.
There's nothing wrong with
I was
that.
very honest about it. I was told both of them actually how like dating is dating, and it's not necessarily exclusive. It gets to a point where you're exclusive. How do you choose someone if you don't have the choice? Do you know what I mean?
You need to know what you want in it.
100%.
So Simone, was you doing that when you was seeing this guy?
Well, that's okay. So we had multiple conversations about this is the thing that really confused me about him. We were really upfront, really honest, to the point where other people probably couldn't take XYZ information, but he was cool with it. But in hindsight, was he cool with it because he wasn't planning to go anywhere? That's the real question. But he asked me, are we exclusive? And I said, if one of us wants to be exclusive, then they should say that. But neither of us have said that. So, no.
That was his way.
We're
was
not.
That his way of asking?
No. And he was saying, yeah, okay, cool. And we had a conversation and we were on the same page.
Right. You have to communicate. It's
Exactly.
so important.
And like with him, there was so much stuff that I was scared of saying, but I wanted to take a new approach to dating. And I was like, if he's going to actually be the person, then I need to just say it.
By curiosity, if you don't mind, how old is he?
How old is he? 27.
Oh, so he's a grown man. Yeah.
And you are,
I'm 25.
right. So it's a bit older. You got that same.
Do you know dating? Did it exist like back in the day? Like, I mean, like, did dating
Yeah, it was
exist back in the
courting,
day?
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Courting.
But was it because you had like arranged marriages and that in it? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but you still had to court before then. It was
That's
like,
also
did you know-
now classed as
did you know-
obviously. Did you know that?
What is-
now arranged marriages and kind of navigating someone towards? Because I've just done some safeguarding training for a job I'm going into, and they class kind of arranging a marriage as a forced marriage. Which
I understand why, but at the same time, they're actually, if you look at some of the cultures where arranged marriages are, the country kind of
it works, innit?
Right,
Kind of works,
You know what I'm
innit?
saying? We don't have the problems
Kinda
that we
works,
have.
which is figuring it all out on our own.
Have you ever heard of like?
Your parents are more likely to pick a better partner.
Have you ever heard of that? Like,
I agree.
But only better on paper. Like,
I mean,
how are they as an actual person?
I just feel like if you've had that
Well, if you can
input
pick
from your
their-
parents, it's kind of like there is an onus and an obligation on commitment, even though it is kind of forced.
But like my grandma was in an arranged marriage, and like in lots of countries, she basically married my grandpa because when they were letting people come from the Caribbean to the UK, only married couples were allowed to leave. So she knew basically nothing about my grandfather before they left.
strategical marriage, though, innit?
It is. It's like for women, it's like also sometimes they get paid money by the men's family to take them.
Yeah.
So
What
basically,
do they
people
call
sell off
that?
their daughters.
What do you call that?
A
dowry.
dowry.
Is it a Nigerian thing?
No,
It's
loads-
all over the
loads-
world,
it's in
innit?
loads of
It's all over the
places.
world, yeah.
Okay.
I swear the Muslim...
All over the world, man. All over the world. But
How do you guys feel about that?
Well,
I mean, yo, if I can buy a beautiful Arabic woman for 2 goats and a piece of land, then why not?
Obviously, there,
come on.
The way they do it is it's something to do with they're giving you something. They're giving you in a sense like
it's an exchange, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's an exchange. So it's like, right, we're giving away someone who's going to clean the house. I don't want to sound.
Yeah, but it is.
I don't want to sound
It
like
is,
that in
though.
it, but they're in a.
Also, what you got to remember is
not really
there's a power dynamic as well to certain arrangements.
Mm-hmm.
There's a power dynamic between like 2 powerful families, for example.
Yeah.
It's better for them to join houses. And that's how they do it.
know each family's
but that comes at a price,
principles.
and obviously it's also a show of wealth from the groom's house or vice versa. Do you know what I'm saying?
Like a unity, isn't it? A unity of 2 strong families coming
Yeah,
together.
it's a representation. A lot of it back in the day,
Making a
anyways.
baby.
But this is what brings me to my question: like, was dating a thing? Like, let's say back in the biblical era, like, was dating a thing? Would like Jesus' disciples and them lot take women out to dinner? Do you know what I mean? And pay 2 silver pieces.
I feel like everyone was too poor to do that kind of
They
thing.
would've-
Like, how do you flex?
But
Like a nice flower? Do you know what I mean? Like, what do you do?
So-
And what
back then-
dating choices do you have? Like, let's go and so together.
okay, so let's
Yeah.
dig into that a sec. Go on, always.
Obviously, back then, women there wouldn't have been anything in place like benefits or anything like that. So, any man who's going to provide, oh, you've got food.
Oh, right.
Up, you know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
so I know what you're saying. So basically, yeah, back then, because women didn't have
Necessity.
any rights at the time,
Yeah.
like they were more likely to die without males in their tribe or in their family.
They were more likely
Yeah.
to say
Yeah,
any
less,
male
like,
was
less,
suitable
less
for
likely
you.
to survive. Yeah, but also when it came to like Roman civilizations, Egyptian civilizations,
more.
you can't really say that because these civilizations,
More built up.
people think they were more advanced than us, and it's never been proven wrong. But like, surely there was ways of flexing back then in the Roman times. The silk from different parts of the world, and the gifts, and the
Yeah,
tigers,
but
and
not everyone was rich. Most people were poor.
no.
That's like,
I'm not saying for everyone, though, innit? I'm saying like
The divide would have been mad back then, though.
yeah, the divide would have been mad. But
Power
even,
dynamic.
but
but then you have like love stories from those times, like Roman myths and stuff, where I feel like,
I
or
don't know,
even
man.
what
There's
was
more
it?
But they
more
were
philosophy
ideals.
from those times. I don't really know any famous Roman like or Greek love stories. I know the
There was
Battle of Troy,
Cleopatra.
Cleopatra and Caesar. That's a good one.
Yeah.
but they're wealthy as
Well, the
fuck.
Romans,
They were wealthy
Romans
as
and
well.
Greeks weren't monogamous at all.
And exactly the
Yeah,
Trojans.
and
And do you think that's
the
a
Trojans.
problem? Do you feel like monogamy is a humanitarian trait?
No.
Nah,
I
No?
think
Humans,
monogamy is
humans-
flawed.
Yeah.
we're
humans-
part of the bonobo, chimpanzee and thingy family. We kind of do out the same stuff that they do in kind of social constructs.
My camera's
We,
gone.
we are not monogamous at all. If we were, majority of us would be monogamous. Like, monogamous.
I think
Otherwise, everyone wouldn't be out here cheating.
I
think-
think women,
yeah.
it's in women to be like monogamous, and men aren't.
No,
I'm not
to-
saying that men cheat, but like in terms of like body anatomy,
Biological.
Yeah.
biological anatomy, like men wake up every morning with morning glory, like they're just ready to go.
yeah.
It's literally it's in all of our DNA to reproduce.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas women are like. You have Mother Nature. Why is it called Mother Nature? It's because women are more maternal and they look after things, and that's what we're here to do, and what you're here to do.
But it's been proven that women will always look to the better partner instead of being with a guy. It's like, okay, I could be with someone better, so and they'll always.
this is what I was
look
going to say a minute
to
ago.
improve
Have you heard of that
instead
study?
of settle.
But isn't
Where-
that what everyone should do?
Nah,
to a
'cause
point,
it's
to a certain
it's unrealistic.
extent, to a certain extent.
What
Do you know what's mad? Like,
Okay, I see what you mean. The grass isn't always greener.
Yeah, but like with men, for example, we would happily marry a woman who has nothing. If we're attracted to her and she's got literally nothing, as long as she's got good hygiene, that's like a basic standard, and she's attractive, then she could have no job, no nothing. She could be dumb. It doesn't really matter.
Personally, I've never seen this ever in my life.
No, but I'm not saying. No, I'm not saying because obviously look how educated most women are. Do you know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, men, we don't require a Wonder Woman. We don't require like a fantastic person.
men will settle with someone that.
Whereas women,
I've never heard this like
All right,
point
but-
of view in my
But,
life.
all right, but most women wouldn't want to settle with a guy who's not ambitious, doesn't want more in life, doesn't want to do this, doesn't want to do that, doesn't want to travel the
gonna have
world.
to find
Doesn't
a
that
stat
circle
for
back
you.
round to the
I'm gonna have
point
to
that I
find a
just
stat for you.
made? Was men are here to reproduce, and women pick life partners.
Yeah.
So, but men move on to the next.
It's like
naturally.
any animal.
So I
kingdom.
would say at certain ages, like the whole thing of women, men move on and women will pick life partners. I can promise there's 40-year-old women out there now that have got the life partner now that are actively looking to the next. It's in a sense of being content and actually, I think men are more content and are more willing to stay with someone.
To settle.
Not even seeing it as, we don't even see it as settling, we just see it as like, oh, this is my person, and whereas, I don't know, from what I see, most, I won't say most, from what I see out of my eyes, the women that I come across, if a better option was to come along, even on paper, he would always be considered. Whereas men would be like, nah, that's my girl. Like, obviously, men might be easy more to go and cheat or just go off, do a thing, come back. But as far as like leaving what they've got, they're more likely to stay. Whereas,
is that a man or a woman? Sorry,
I would say men are more likely to stay. Women are easier to walk away.
I'd say that
like the standards now for women.
Yeah,
but I feel like men tend to benefit.
Ben? Was that his name?
No,
Gotcha, Ben.
no, men tend to benefit more from having a woman in their life than a woman does from having a man in their life.
Yeah,
because I feel like because we're socialized differently, there are lots of things like even just being empathetic and compassionate that men can't necessarily express these things with their friends. Now they've got a woman in their life, they're able to get all this emotional fulfillment that they weren't able to have before.
And do you know what's mad? Someone said something. Can't remember who it was that said it. They said it's a biological thing because in like warring times where tribes would get around and raid villages and whatnot, the men who would raid other villages would kill all the men but keep the women alive and then take those women as their own women, and then for those women to survive, they had to submit to the new men. And then what they've said is like there's a study that it's happened over thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years that this social construct of this way of surviving back then has become kind of a thing where, if you notice, when a woman leaves us, they can get over the relationship very quick, whereas we'll still be hurt about it 2, 3 years, 4 years down the line.
I see, man, and 3 years later,
still talking about the same girl, innit?
Like, over a girl.
Seriously, man. Like,
moved on, had kids.
Yeah.
I think that's just understanding your emotions.
Exactly.
And,
emotional maturity.
Knowing how to process them, whereas women, we do...
I think that's a bit of a blanket. That's a bit of a...
the first thing, like, going over every single breakup you've ever had, what's the first thing, like, you genuinely tend to do? After a breakup, like what's the first thing you do?
Grind.
For me, it's been different.
I work. Honestly, it's like fuck you.
Every relationship's been so different. I'd say I've been in 4 meaningful relationships in my life. One of them was about 7 years. After that, Jesus Christ, I was.
Don't even look at me, bro.
I don't know what I'm admitting on camera yet. I was distraught in it. I was just in my bed, crying like a little bitch. You get me? Just
don't talk about yourself like that.
Nah, but obviously I'm looking back at myself.
What women naturally would do, like we straight away we would cry, we would deal with it, and then.
But I feel like before the relationship ends, I feel like the woman's
We've
done.
checked out.
Yeah,
I did all that.
She was done with me before.
The woman's done before she's left you. She's done.
Yeah.
And that's why in your situation, it's kind of a bit of a shock to the system because you're kind of like, wait, I wasn't done with him yet. And you're like, well, he's ghosted me, and this is shit. And for anyone to ghost anyone, it's pretty shit. I've been ghosted myself, innit? But it is shit. But it's like, I feel like for women, they do move on quicker than men. But I'm not saying that theory or that statement that someone made was true or not.
I think women get more hooked in a lot quicker as well.
Yeah.
So I see. Yeah,
I
I've seen a guy
so.
for 2 weeks and then be like, "Oh my god, he's the one."
Yeah, actually.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I used to have. I got some stories, man.
You guys have not experienced that though both ways. I don't know about you guys, but I've had that from a guy as well, and I've been like, whoa.
Yeah.
When a guy does it to me, I'm like,
I've seen guys do it. I've seen guys do it. I've seen guys do it before. I've seen guys absolutely simp.
Love bombing. That's how I see it. Just like love
see you guys do it.
No, but the thing is with me, I'm so delusional. I'm like, but why wouldn't you?
exactly.
Exactly. Like,
I get it.
Do you think most women are like that though?
Yeah. It comes from confidence.
In my head,
I think it comes from confidence.
Yeah, I do.
Because I know some people where they're always questioning themselves, like, oh, I can't believe this guy has chosen me, and I'm looking at I'm looking at this person, and I'm like. But why would?
But what you call it delusion, Molly? What would you say feeds that? Like what would you say your delusions foundation's based on?
I don't know. I actually genuinely don't know, you know.
So-
I sometimes think, I'm like, is that just from like when I was little? My mum was like, oh, you're so beautiful. Like,
Honestly, it's it's parents. Like,
I don't think it should be a division.
No,
like
I don't think it is
I think
parents.
I know my values. I know what I bring to the table. I know who I am as a person, and I'm
Fair.
confident that why wouldn't you want to be with me?
But Molly, was you saying you're delusional is in the sense of you think everyone should be head over heels for you anyways? Or was you saying it? Or was you saying it as
very like you made a very good point.
or was you saying it
I'd
as
say-
you was delusional for falling for someone else? Because I didn't really get it.
No, I'm like I was. So someone's love bombing me. I'm
right,
delusional
yeah.
and like, well, why wouldn't you?
that should be the standard.
Yeah,
It's like
because I'm a
everyone
high
should-
value
yeah.
But what makes a high value woman then? And what
See?
like what
I feel like what makes a high value person is somebody who can exist on their own. Like you're not coming to somebody to be like, I need you to like add something to my life.
I think it's subjective. It just depends on
It
the
is subjective,
person.
yeah,
Like
but-
someone could have a lot of money, doesn't mean
But
I want them as a partner.
to better phrase the question, what level of woman should be love bombed by every person she comes across or every guy she comes across?
There shouldn't
no
be.
woman
People shouldn't be
will.
love bombed anyway.
I think it's more about the person who is.
No, I'm just feeding off what Molly
love-bombing.
said, innit? I'm just.
No,
I'm just
I get what you say because,
I
like,
think
for me,
it's the respect
moderation.
that someone
Exactly.
shows you. Like that's for
set,
me. Like the respect. Like when a guy speaks to me, or like they can from a conversation, they know what I bring and I know what I bring, and that I can feel that
All right,
the guy respects me because of that.
To be fair, sorry to
yeah,
interrupt.
go on.
But yeah, the love bombing thing.
Yeah.
But like for me, it's normally like the guy has always been like, oh my god, you're so beautiful, and at the time, like at the beginning, it's nice to hear that.
Well,
But then it becomes too much,
standard.
and then
What-
but like two of my relationships, both families were like, oh my god, she's beautiful, and it became all about my love.
What would you?
Yeah.
What,
That's when I was like,
uncomfortable.
it
What would-
becomes disturbing.
yeah.
Like,
what would go through
this
your
is what you
mind
like.
if you then seen the same guy love bombing that what's that fucking fat girl that's trending? That's a man. It's a man, but it's like a.
Or the trans.
What's it called, man? Like the Galactical, whatever they call it, innit?
Oh, let's not get ourselves cancelled, bro.
Like, no, that's what they call her. Innit? Like, no, obviously, I don't know her name, innit? But that's what people call her on memes and stuff. Like,
Yeah,
it's
I
just
get what you're
saying.
basically,
those are so mean.
No, I don't know what she's called. But basically,
Stereotypically,
what would you?
she's not
Yeah, she's
attractive.
ugly.
That's
What would you
not
say?
Yeah.
What would you say if the same guy who's love bombing you went on next to love bomb some absolute troll or some horrible person?
You would say that's
What's it got to do
fair.
with you?
sorry.
Yeah.
So what she's saying is-
Say again. Sorry.
Well, to be fair, the last guy love bombing, you know him.
Yeah.
He's just a psycho. So, I just like when I have come across the girls like face to face, and they've asked me questions about him, I've just told them straight, like, he's not a great person and he's doing it. And he is clockwork. I was like, has he done this, this, and this, and this, all in this order? Yes.
So
he has.
basically, what you're saying is you're not asked who he love bombs next.
No, I don't give a shit. It's not my problem.
But what happens if, say, he got with Maya Jama and he's love bombing her?
Fairs.
Exactly. This is my point. So, at what point does the delusion set in, and where you realise there's a scale here from that troll to Maya Jama, for example, where the question was, at what stage of woman deserves to be love bombed? And you did say yourself, it's a delusion and whatnot. And I'm not trying to like make anyone feel any type of way, but at what point does it become fair? Like, Raj, you know what?
Nah, I've got something to say about
That's what
that.
I mean, go on.
Like me, like I don't like when a guy fangirls over me. If I feel like a guy is fangirling over me, I'm just like, act like you've been here before. Do you know what I mean?
You can
So
tell that
it's
you
like-
can sense when a guy is not being genuine about it.
Exactly.
Like,
I don't
you
feel
said
like
this
it's a
plenty
deserve
of-
thing. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Like,
Facts.
if you go different places around the world, there are different standards of beauty completely. Like, there are places in like sub-Saharan Africa where they want you to be really like plump and overweight because it shows that you're not
Wealth
poor.
and that, yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, if someone else is getting love bombed, it's not for anyone else to say if they deserve
I
like
have a
the
holder, innit?
compliments and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just if that's what that person thinks.
No, we're wrong. It was an
that's
open
what they
question,
think.
it weren't a statement. I was just saying.
Also,
innit,
I
like-
think everyone brings something different to the
Yeah,
table.
100%.
No woman or any person, for that matter, can bring the same thing that.
Yeah.
The problem now, though, this day and age, is a lot of, well, I don't know about men, but a lot of women that seem to think because they look a certain way, that instantly means that they deserve to be treated in a certain manner.
I do
The
agree.
world treats them that way, though.
And the problem is,
Yeah,
because the select group
They
of
get
guys
flown
out
out.
there, the right guys out
I
there
know.
will do
One of
that.
my boys literally DMs girls saying, "Do you want a free holiday?" They're like, "Yeah," and he flies them out, and he ends up getting with them, and it's mad.
it.
It works.
I've been in bed with gal where man are offering literally
and it
popping up. I
works.
can see man saying you want to fly out with.
Yeah, it works.
I'll be in public, I'll like drop a pen and 2 guys will rush to pick it up before I even realise I've knocked over my pen. Do you know what I mean?
Chivalry ain't dead.
They do it to themselves. They do it to themselves.
It's those guys that are setting the standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then but it's weird because like you got a guy like me, I could be obsessed with you.
You ain't gonna know.
I might tell you once, but I'm not gonna. I will never want to come across as that weird pesty guy.
Yeah, but you can't chat shit though. There's always that one girl where you have been out of, like, never love bombed.
Yeah, to use behind closed doors. I'm like, oh my God,
yeah.
What ring on the
There's
finger?
always that
You know
one
what I'm
girl
saying?
in it.
But how do you translate that energy? So if you're telling your friends, this is a girl that I could settle down with,
Yeah.
how do you translate
It literally
that
comes out
to
like
the
this.
woman?
Yo, she's a good girl, you know.
No, I mean to her.
Oh,
How
right,
would
oh.
you
How
translate
would you
that?
translate
You're a
that to
good
her?
girl, you know.
So it's a hard one for me because I
creative,
can only at this point in my life, I don't even think I'm ready for the girl that I want to be with.
But that's good.
'Cause you wanna present as-
Yeah, the self-awareness.
version
I
of
want
yourself.
certain things out of work on a little
Yeah.
bit. You know what I'm saying? I want to come back as a better package.
Yeah. I feel like
Not even that
that's
you're
also
proud of,
what-
that I'm proud of.
Right.
So then,
I think
That's
that's, also
massive.
what
I feel like that's what
goes
keeps us
wrong
single,
in
that.
modern dating is
Timing.
Like someone doesn't think they're good enough,
yeah.
so and then that way it can flop because they're like, no, I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, yeah.
In your own head.
This is what also is like a downside to say, for example, for men, they'd feel like maybe I don't earn enough money because I know other men that earn more, or maybe I've not worked out in the gym enough because I know men with better physiques, or maybe I can't take her to these places because I know she's been there. But then for women, it's also like they understand how competitive the world is, not just for men, but for women as well. Like, or am I going to be able to take on giving him advice through his business? I've never run a business of my own. Or there's always, it's mad. Like, it's mad. I feel like this is where there was a question I wanted to ask before. Yeah, do you think, like, they did this test on kids and they gave them like options of toys in it, and basically the kids who had more toys versus the kids who had less toys to choose from took longer to choose, and sometimes ended up not choosing within the time frame in it. Now let's put that same philosophy into dating and into finding a life partner and whatnot. Yeah, do you think that we're in a society at the moment where social media and a lot of networking, a lot of social groups, and a lot of accessible areas for people is kind of making the market saturated, where there's that much choice, you don't really know what to choose.
We're being spoiled.
But going off what you said before, you said you come across 250 people, let's say half of them were men, let's say 125 men, and you said, nah, the market's dead. Not a single one of them do I like. But I guarantee, if they were the only 125 men that you would ever see for the rest of your life, you would pick one of them. If you was to never see another man ever again.
I'm kind
That's
of
different. Then it's becoming a survival thing.
No, there's my point. There's my point.
Situation
There's
now
my point. No,
I get out there, I meet certain people, and the people that I do meet that I like, I think are out of my league, and then everyone else, I'm just like, I don't even want to. I'd feel like I'd be settling being with you, and I don't want to be with that. I want to be with someone that I want to be with.
But I feel like you should almost go for people out of your league. I feel like
Should.
people
just do it and get rejected anyway, isn't it?
No, but you're not even necessarily going to get rejected. Like, I feel like people just like the confidence. Like me, I don't like people fangirling over me. I like someone who can just, if they're going to compliment me, like they just walk up to me and, oh, I think you're really good looking. I'm like, oh, thanks. And like, I really respect that. Even though they're someone I probably wouldn't approach, I'm going to consider them now.
Do you
Because
find
they have
yourself
support.
approaching guys though?
Yeah, I approach guys.
Do you?
Yeah,
Yo,
I-
do-
She said that
Yo,
with
this is-
chest.
Yeah, I approach guys. Like,
Go on,
if
go
I-
on, go on, go on. So
if I see a
what's your-
guy, if I see a guy that I want, if I'm in a place and I'm like, see a few guys that I'm like, okay, you're good looking, I'm gonna make sure before I leave they at least know my name.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm the opposite. I would never approach a guy, and that's just me. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I just prefer like the old school approach.
Yeah.
Like, I like
I
it when a
do
guy comes up to me. I
too.
just,
See, I like to pick. I feel like if I wait for people to come to me, I'm not gonna necessarily get what I want.
Right, because I feel like these days guys are less. When I was younger, I'm going back, when I was 15, that's 20 years nearly.
Cat,
I used to
30 years.
I used to get approached a lot. I used to get chirps on the street. There's all kind of people.
That was, do you know what that
coming up
era
to me.
was? That was like, you're my size era.
Yeah,
That's what that was.
you're my
That was that era.
Nah, do you know what it was, though?
Bum ting.
all of that.
Back then, there was nothing.
Yeah,
attached
you had
or
a Sony Ericsson.
We are the only generation
Had to infrared your songs
know
and that.
about life before social
To be honest,
media.
so many men want to be chased these days, and I'm so sorry, but I'm not chasing.
Oh
But
my
no,
God.
where's that come
But
from? though?
mine's not a chase.
Because,
I think it
yeah,
has
where's
to be
that
a
come
give
from?
and
though?
take.
I feel like social media.
Yeah.
Social
No,
media's
but
ruined
I will
everything.
tell you from
Based off
first-hand
what, though, like?
experience. I've spoken to quite a few guys now whilst dating, and there's no like drive to like for a date or so. Like, I'm not saying every single guy I've spoken to because that's not the case, but
They just want
the
to chat.
majority.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a pen pal. I'm sorry, I'm not.
Do you know what it is?
Nah, that's more than a chat.
It was back in the day. Back in the day, you could literally take I don't know, take a girl to a coffee shop or I don't know, take to park, just cinema things. Girls would laugh at that shit now.
No,
listen, I've stopped doing that, you know.
Saying it, but then
Yo.
but when you with your
Wholly
friends,
disagree.
when you sat down chatting,
Can I add to this?
This guy that goes to me, we went for a walk
let
around
him
the
get his
canal.
point.
Can I add to that point one sec?
Wait a minute. Otis, have you finished your point?
I don't know, to be honest. I was trying.
Right. No, let's just go back to the bare bones of the point, is which that you think a date that is inexpensive
Yeah.
is laughable.
No, that's not the point.
I don't believe it is. If a girl was to take me anywhere, and if I felt like you actually, I don't know, thought about it, or you actually want to be there around me, then it doesn't make a difference. But I feel like this day and age, a standard has been set because there's 10,000 trappers out there now that have got a whole heap of money in their pocket that have got time.
Yeah, but they've also got a lot of pussy on their dick.
Not all of them.
Genuinely. I always see this.
Not
as
all of them.
Trappers, I just feel like
Not all of them.
I'm not
Sure is.
joking.
because they meet so many people.
As much as I like a guy who is secure with his income and he's got money coming in, a trapper for me, a roadman who's making his money on the street, is also
On the
out
streets.
there. The women can see him.
Yeah,
He's
also he's
got
meeting
pussy.
lots of people
Right.
all
Yeah.
the time.
But the thing is, the girls that are saying I want this, and this, and are searching for it, but they're not finding it, are like,
But then,
but I might as well just go on phone and link up with my man until I do find what's. But then now the standard's been set. It's like, this guy does all this for me and this for me, and then you get with me. You don't
And
know
that's
shit.
easy for a trapper.
Yeah, that's
So
the
that
thing.
he can then go through a rotation of girls who want to be there for the high life. Meanwhile, he's getting pussy. Meanwhile, girls like me are like, nah, you can keep your little drippy dick over there.
Trappers aren't settling down.
I'm not interested.
I've definitely devalued I've devalued myself
Yeah,
through the
that's
amount
that.
of meaningless encounters that I've had.
I
Right.
also
Because now I
think
don't even
it's-
look at certain sections.
Yeah, you're not
It's all
excited by
part
it
of
no more.
I also think, like, I had this conversation with someone the other day, I can't remember who it was, but also we're like OnlyFans era, like people, like women expect so many things because you can go out and get it.
It's transactional.
Yeah.
Relationships have become quite transactional.
But
Yeah.
can I also add on what you said before, Otis? Like how you're saying that the standard's been set out there, like women expect, or most women expect that. Maybe it's the women that you're looking for.
Oh, no,
Because
no,
I love a day
100%.
outside.
I know, I mean,
100%.
maybe you set that standard.
No.
Because
It's my
I would be
fault.
happy to
Let
walk
me
down,
add my
down
point,
and
please, man. I've been trying to add my point to what Otis has said for time. Yeah. Basically, Otis made the
Getting
point.
heated in
so have I.
Otis made the point about the dating scene. Coffees and first dates are kind of dying out, and it's highly competitive. I have a point for and against that, you know. So sometimes I don't want to do that. I don't even bother doing that because I feel like there's too much formality to it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, do you know what? You might go on a little date for a coffee or for whatever it may be, but then the relationship seems a little bit formal then, do you know what I mean? Like you've arranged a date, you have to do this next step, and sometimes I don't want to do that. But then on the other side, there's been times where you just speak to a girl for a while and you're just like, what are you saying tonight? Do you want to come mine? Comes over, that's it. And then you have a great relationship, not a relationship as in like an official one, but you have like a great couple months together and then it doesn't work out half the time, but you have a great time together, and both sides, there's pros and cons for
The
I feel
last
like-
relationship that I was in.
but I will say one of the most exciting recent situations I've been in. Obviously, I was seeing a girl, and then I would take her out, but also we were seeing each other at home and whatnot. But then I would make sure I'd take her out. But what kept it engaging is that she knew I was busy all the time, and she knew I can't commit to making sure I've always got something planned because I've actually got a massive schedule at the time. And she would be playful with it, and she'd be like, "No, I'm not coming round until you take me for another date." Do you know what I mean? No, I'm not coming round to see you unless you do that. And do you know what I'm like? Yeah, game on, let's go. And it's
because it's the chase. Men love the chase.
It's not even just the chase. It's kind of like, do you know?
I don't know whether I was raised like that, but I was never. I don't know. I was always raised under the pretense that like people come together, not you chase. Like it's like there has to be. Obviously, mine is. I wasn't raised under a traditional thing at all. My mum's never brought a man apart, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
I've never seen him bring a man through the household. So I don't know. For me, it was like you give this much, you give this much, and it should be to completely kind of equal.
When you know each other and when it becomes something serious, but I feel like when it's the beginning, like I associate men like as this is gonna sound really bad, as like animals. I
understand the tradition.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and I feel like when you get something like sex very easily, like. It becomes boring because you've gotten what you wanted.
It's not like
if
you look
it's
at
a bit
her
more
different,
playful, what's exciting now? Do you know what I mean? Because you've kind of what's it called? Post nut clarity comes into action.
Nah, you're misusing that term. I don't think you understand what that is.
Post nut clarity.
Post nut clarity.
Wow.
Just to clear this up for the females in the room, is where everything's exciting and you have a great night together. But then as soon as you nut, you're like, oh my God,
what have I done?
What the fuck has just happened here? Yeah. How do I get her out of my house now? And you're texting your boys and you're like, bro, bell me, just tell me that something's happened. I need to go and she needs to go.
I only got it in older years.
Yeah.
I was that guy that used to just lay up.
No, I actually had it in teenage years as well though. I actually had it in teenage years.
That's the thing though, don't you feel like guys, controversial, but are kind of easy?
Yeah, we're easier than women.
Yeah,
we're easier than women.
100%.
Easier than women.
100%. But this is
no shame about it.
That's built into us, isn't it? There's something built into us there.
Which is why we're disgusted when women are easy, because that's our role, isn't it?
The problem with this is why you should keep your man away from promiscuous women, because your man might go out that day and be like, nah, not a chance.
I'm sorry, but I'm not babysitting. If he's gonna cheat, he's gonna cheat. Where I'm not.
Nah, not
I haven't got time running a business. Do you think I've got time to be like, make sure you're home? Am I your mum?
But when my man's hitting up club every weekend, red flags.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because no man is going to put himself in a position that he knows I'm going to get something tonight. Because it's a law of averages. I'm going to say to myself, I'm not cheap, but 9 out of 10 times, that 10th time, it's like, yo, she's badder and she's offering it on silver platter.
Mm-hmm.
There's just that one time where you might get tempted. Best way to not get tempted is don't be there.
Or just have some integrity.
Because you don't have. You could be at the coffee shop and you could still think the same thing.
I'm a firm believer of if you love someone that much, like.
Nah. You wouldn't hurt them like that. You wouldn't hurt somebody.
Nothing to do with it. You can be in love with someone and cheat on them. You can't love someone and respect. You can't cheat on someone and respect them.
I think you have to understand that your selfishness is higher than the amount that you love that person.
Oh yeah, it's about respect. So you don't respect that person enough to not cheat on them. But as far as love, I've been in love with someone. Like, I'm talking, I will die for this person tomorrow. But the night before, I slept with someone else.
But isn't that just betrayal? Why would you?
Exactly. I feel like that means you don't understand love.
No, I don't condone it at all. No, I do understand it. I don't condone it. I looked at myself and I knew it was wrong. You know what I'm saying? I felt bad about it. It wasn't like...
It was me, not her.
It was in that situation.
Nah, that you can say post-nut clarity too.
In that post-nut clarity, then I nutted, oh my God, what have I done? Now, in that situation, alcohol... I don't care what anyone says. Alcohol.
Alcohol's pretty crazy.
And what they call them, skimpy dresses. They are not.
I thought you were gonna say drugs.
Nah. I'm not promoting no
skimpy dresses.
Drug-free zone.
Yeah. Alcohol and what's saying. Even the most respectable guy. Trust me, I know the most guy talk in barbers and gyms and whatnot. We all hear about guy situation. The most respectable guys out there who wouldn't cheat. But under certain situations,
you got pressure a minute.
I believe it, but isn't that just a bit pathetic though? Like, where's the self-discipline?
So do you think women are more self-disciplined in that front than men?
No,
I'm asking the women,
I think women are more self-disciplined
in that front than men?
God no.
Don't look at the other girls, man. Asking you.
Well, we're not seeing
in terms
some
of
tight
cheating.
jeans and thinking, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
No,
do you
but
know
I'm
what?
saying-
I don't
The question is,
see someone and be like, oh my God.
it's a yes
I
or no
can't wait
question.
to-
Are women? Do you think women are more self-disciplined in this front than men?
Sexually self-disciplined, yeah, I would say.
So do you think it takes a lot more for a woman to cheat
You know what? I've
than the
got to
man?
an age where I'm just like, do you know what? That has nothing.
Now we get it, but obviously at this age, but the younger years, like
Younger years, Chris Brown.
if Breezy ran
don't know.
so let's leave
No,
it.
like, do you think it takes more for a woman to cheat than a man?
Yeah.
So,
Because
so then do you think? So then do you
there's
think?
literal studies on women.
So one sec. So then do you think that it's worse if a woman cheats than if a man cheats?
No.
Yeah, 100%.
Wait, how we ended up with
I won't say
mixed
it's worse,
mixed
I think
answers
it's
when let's one sec.
Disloyalty, disloyalty.
Let's look at this from a logical perspective though. Yeah,
Yeah.
you've got two groups of people. One of them claims that they've got more self-discipline than the other in a certain field, right? So if they succumb to these weaknesses and make bad choices, then one's obviously naturally weaker because they're naturally going to make that mistake, whereas we don't do that. So you consciously...
there's
No,
no
wait. So let me
100%.
land. Let me land. Going off what you have said, by the way, these ain't my own words. By the way...
Sounds like you're twisting.
You're reframing them.
I'm going off...
words of
Let me just understand.
fine, I'll untwist it
Let
when
me
you're
just
done.
let me just understand what you're saying. So you're saying it, and you've also said, when I said, does it take a lot more for a woman to cheat? And 3 out of 4, you just said yes, which gives me a general consensus of yes, which means it's obviously worse if a woman cheats then, isn't it?
No, because it's not like...
It's just
the
not-
idea,
Do you
the
know what-
idea that women should just automatically
you know
know
what?
better.
It's a question. It's a question.
I feel like
Just
it's more
because it's not easy, it
unexpected.
doesn't make it worse.
There's
a question.
There's literal studies on this, and women connect with people more through sex. They're more emotionally invested
Yeah.
when they have sex with somebody.
On average.
So what are you trying to say using that data?
Is it does mean more for it does
It's
is
not
worse for
just
a woman.
about
So it is
Yeah.
worse for a woman to cheat.
Yeah.
I disagree because...
I wouldn't say it's
There's
worse.
just more
It's not,
weight
it
in
can't
it.
be worse because it's like women shouldn't have more moral responsibility.
No,
in-
no one said that though.
That's
innit?
what
Like,
you're
feel like
saying.
it's
By it being
though.
worse.
it's a
I just
question.
feel like they
Nah,
do
basically what you're saying is
because
because-
you're
That's what
being
you're saying.
entered.
No, I didn't say nothing.
The
It wasn't a
difference
statement. It's a
is,
question.
guy is entering. A woman is being entered. There is a logistical difference, in my opinion. Like, I just feel like having a home and letting somebody
got a
step
perfect
over
analogy
the
for this, yeah?
threshold is way
I've
different.
got a perfect analogy for this, Nina.
Go on.
If this was full, yeah, and you grabbed it, and I grabbed it, and then you grabbed it, would you still drink from it?
That's my one.
Would you still drink from it?
Yeah, but if you both drank from
No,
it.
we're not drunk from it. We just grabbed it, just the outside. But if we all dipped our finger in it, and he dipped his finger in it, and she dipped her finger in it, would you drink from it then?
No.
There you go. Analogy finished.
No.
But it's like you eat off plates and stuff. You wash
Yeah.
them and then you go again.
I don't
Use
think
the washing machine.
I don't think it's any
Right.
worse.
We've got
Obviously,
someone who's saying they disagree on the live. Can I ask you? Right, Rachel, if you're still here, you said you disagree. I'm not sure what you meant by that, but can you please respond in the chat? Because we need live input, don't we?
We got a chat going.
We've got a chat going. We're on a live. So Rachel said most of these trappers have money because they don't pay rent for their
they don't say what.
they don't pay rent for their kids. Right, okay. If anyone's got anything to contribute, please do, and I'll get back to the comments when I can. Anyway, back to where you were, guys.
Oh, I love them
As
comments.
you were, as you
Comments
were.
that just send everything off.
Send for you. No, go on. Sorry, where were you?
I'm just saying it. You clearly said you drink out of the bottle if it's grabbed
Oh
on the
no,
outside. but not
I don't
dipped.
think it's any different in the sense of worse. Obviously, it's easier. I'd say it's easier for men to cheat, or it's harder for women. But that doesn't mean just because it's easier.
Emotionally, but not optionally.
That means just because the feeling's there. Then you can't suppress that feeling. It's like then it's just down to your willpower. Have you got the willpower to say? Because I can confidently say there's been one relationship that I've been loyal in. Every other.
Out of
Yeah. How
out of
many?
every relationship I've ever had in my life, there's been one that and I had to make a conscious decision that I'm not going to take all this.
Are we on live? Can we get some men to kind of
I'm not-
Guys,
say whether
It's giving trauma.
right.
No, definitely.
One of
100%
right,
trauma.
right.
Yeah.
One of the guys said there's 1 billion trappers these days.
Let's move away.
There
from
is.
I'm saying most aren't really trappers like that.
Exactly.
Oh,
That's
so
what-
we're not going into a thing here. I'm saying man are out here that have got time and money to go out there and link y'all. And where other man have got half, not even a fraction of the money, and they're out there 10 hours a day and don't even have time to come back and spend. That's what I went. It's not about relevant to how much the trappers are making.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
But there's
Fair
more
enough.
value in what like the 10-hour guy is making.
But what I'm saying is, this day and age, a lot of the girls don't see it like that.
No, they do.
Yeah, but
What
it's
makes
the
you think
10
they don't
hours
do
that
it?
is meeting people.
I'd say a lot of women. I feel like
10 hour what?
all relationships are more. The minute you start hitting 27, 28, 29, that's when you start realizing, oh shit, those past years I was actually a kid.
Yeah, you're
saying
dating.
relevant
Sorry,
was
don't you think that's a bit late
Like,
to realise you were a kid?
Oh,
How old are you?
100%. I was never taught how a healthy relationship works. I've never seen it. I've never seen it in my household.
me neither, though.
Fair, I
seen
never
in
had
my-
it either.
Yeah.
I'm saying everything
I guess
was mad.
I guess we're the generation of the broken relationships.
So I-
Trying to fix things.
Yeah, we are. That
I don't think
actually are aware
I
of our
don't think we are.
emotions.
I don't think our generation is trying to fix things though.
I do.
I don't think
I
we are. No, I
definitely
don't
put in
think
the
we
work to
are.
fix it for my
For yourself.
I think
Not
people
for my,
gotta-
no, not just for myself, for my children, our next generation.
Yeah.
With us being cousins, our next generation, like, I don't want my child, like, I'm very, and this is why, like, I'm very strict to myself when it comes to having children. I can't wait to be a mum.
I've got a solution for it all, you know.
No, wait, let me land.
Let her.
Let me live.
I got a solution for all of this.
No, I can't wait to be a mum.
Oh, okay.
But
Got you, girl.
that doesn't mean I'm just gonna just have any guy, and this is why I am picky, and this might be why it is difficult in the dating society at the moment, because I'm not just picking for someone for suitable that's for me. I'm picking someone suitable for my child, who's gonna have a dad there that turns up, that shows up, that can teach him or her valuable things in life, because it's hard out there. I want that unit for my family, and obviously things happen. I'm not saying obviously, once you're with me, you're locked down, you're never leaving. But I wanna delete. I don't know. I want to minimize those chances as much as possible. I'm now putting in the work. I'm not perfect, and I know that I'm looking within to see what's wrong with myself from my previous relationships, from my current relationships, from what I'm doing now as a person, that I could minimize those chances from my half, and I'm looking for my other half who's also doing that and taking responsibility. I think us as a generation, unless you really want it, unless you're putting time into it, like, it's just going to repeat. And obviously, I'm not saying
people want it to come easy, and
it's not easy. It's not easy.
But nothing that you just said is
in the
fixing. You said the opening statement to that was, I am out there trying to fix the generational issues that's been left behind for this.
Yeah.
For a kid,
but that's not fixing it directly. That's
by
directly.
picking your
that's being
partner.
conscientious.
That's
with the decision.
Lead by
no,
example.
that's doing the same thing
Damage
that
limitation.
other generations were doing. Don't
They
get me
weren't
wrong.
doing that.
No.
Some weren't.
No,
where they
they
was looking out
weren't.
for their kids and they wanted to plan something for their kids, because you say they weren't, but both me and you and her and Nina all come from families that have come from other countries because they wanted better for the next generation. So you can't say that they didn't want that, because
Yeah, I can, because
we're
I
all here because of.
Nah, but I told you-
we're all here because of people who came before us who wanted better for us. But what I'm saying is, your opening statement was, we are out here trying to fix what's been left for us. But as a generation, no, we're not. You might be, for you, that's fine. But as a generation, we're not.
But that's
Nah.
just
Because you've
generalising
still got
everyone.
no,
Because
it doesn't, because
I
you've
would-
still got
I would
still
say-
got Love Island, you've still got OnlyFans, you've
But
still
that's
got.
out of my control. I cannot control those factors.
I'm not saying you do.
What I
I'm
can
not
control is
saying,
what I do
Glenda,
next.
I'm not
Sorry,
saying.
can I
I'm not
just-
saying you
can I
do.
just ask a
As a
question?
generation,
What you just said then,
as a generation,
it's just-
we're not.
Can I just ask a question? Why is OnlyFans a bad thing?
I never said it was a
Why?
bad thing.
No,
I
it's
said,
a standard
it's
for the whole
I said
generation.
it's a part of the reason why we're a part of a generation with broken
Can I
relationships.
answer that
No.
question? It's not a bad. It's not so much a bad thing.
Let me just answer a question one more little bit.
Jesus Christ, Aaron.
Also, did you know that
the
average 18-year-old boy who earns minimum wage working at Farm Foods or Asda or whatnot can subscribe to OnlyFans and see more attractive, beautiful, naked women than the richest kings in history?
From back then.
Can
Yeah, that's
I just say, like, the online, especially the OnlyFans thing, is so blown up. Do you know how many women work in sex work? Like, a tiny fraction. And, like, everything
absolutely,
online
only like 1%.
wants to refer women, and then they want to interview OnlyFans models. And it's like, you're not representative for most of us. Like, I don't know, how many OnlyFans models do you know? I know.
I know a
Don't
few.
know.
I don't know any. I knew people who used to.
Well,
and they don't
a lot
anymore.
of girls try to hide it from other girls. But we don't
Right.
hide it from
Nah,
other men.
girls, I feel
some
like
girls
other
open
girls
with it,
know.
man.
Yeah.
Some girls
Their
are
friends
open.
will know.
But
Or
also,
some.
can I just say, I think the OnlyFans thing is also a survival thing, because I
Exactly.
think regardless...
Surviving what, though?
I'm going to land.
Let her land.
Let her land. So I think it's a survival thing, because in this day and age, obviously with the old society as well, women are constantly sexualized. Like what she's wearing, like even in school, your skirt's too short, it's too distracting, from a male teacher to hear. And then like a lesbian PE teacher told us that we need to start wearing sports bras because it's distracting when we were in year 7 and we were triple A's. It's like, you're, as a woman, you're constantly sexualized from a really young age. And you're like, women are out here thinking, well, what's the fucking point? I may as well make some fucking money off it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's so many men that are like, here's money, here's money, here's money.
So my
men are equally the problem.
My
Don't get me wrong.
Exactly. There's no thing without the demand.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not eliminating that. When I mentioned OnlyFans, it wasn't a dig at females.
Obviously, with OnlyFans, it's
There's
one
male
of
models as well. Sorry, Karen.
it's one of them things where if you respect your body and this, that, the other, and you're happy about it, sweet, do your thing. People are going to judge you no matter what, from all walks of life, innit? But yeah, if you're right doing it. But what I see a lot of girls with a bag of trauma who have ran to it because, I don't know, they got kicked out of the house. You know, it's like, okay, this is the only way I can make money now. Oh shit, I can make a bag of money now. And now they've also learnt like the last, I'm not going to go into detail about it, but my last relationship, I'm not going to say what she did, but she was in the world of selling.
Spicy industry.
Yeah, she was getting paid for sexual exploiting men. You know what I'm saying?
Why is she exploiting the men they're choosing to pay?
Oh yeah,
they're choosing to pay. That's not exploitation.
Oh, it's vice versa. Like we're using you, you're using us. I just think, for me personally, using your body, if you want respect, if you want people to respect your body, selling your body is not a way to get people to respect your body. You know what I'm saying? It's what I personally respect it. If you go out there, make bag of money, showing your body off, and you're comfortable with that, and then you buy a house out of it, which would took someone 20 years, 30 years to do, by all means, in it, if you feel comfortable. But a lot of girls out here are not even comfortable to tell the partners, I've been met girls, they don't want to tell me, or it's like, why? The fact that you're embarrassed about it or you've gone away about it now makes me not respect it. If you're more like, yeah, this is what I do.
I get that, but it's the same way that people don't want to come out. Do you know what I mean? Because is it safe? Because I'm not going to lie, men will treat you
Of the closet.
men will treat you worse, or like men will see sex workers and think that they can treat
Not
them
just men. I've seen women be
badly.
brutal.
No, I mean like physically, whatever. So it's like, I mean, obviously you don't want to be with someone who's like that, but I feel like if I was doing OnlyFans or something, that would be my worry. Is he going to switch on me? And now this person devalues me and I wouldn't want to tell them.
But the reality is, then you can't, that's you. That is a part of you that you're supposed to expose to him. If he doesn't, then he's not the guy for you.
I mean, yeah, I agree, to be honest.
Me personally,
But
I'll be honest,
also,
I can't be with someone.
I don't get how this is.
I know a lot,
Because
like
I've been
a
with
few
someone.
people who are in sex work, and like as you say, like they got trauma and stuff. Like basically, there's this thing that like you try and people who have like some sexual trauma try and like turn it positive. So some people become like
Empowered.
Hypersexual.
They become hypersexual as a response because
They're
their
trying
brain
to take control back of
exactly
their
their
body,
brain
and that
wants to
happens
turn
to
it
me.
into a positive
I
thing.
can vouch
And
for
like
that.
in a situation where they haven't had consent and they didn't get to choose where someone was looking at their body.
Right.
They didn't get to choose where someone was touching them. When they are in control of that and they're getting money from it, it's completely different. And I think that's why probably most of the people doing it probably have experienced something like that. But like it's a trauma response. But that doesn't. But for some people that can be really healing. Like I know people that it's been really, it's been really good to know like that I can't be walked all over by men. I can set
Take
a boundary.
something from it.
Yeah,
as
exactly.
well.
I would say that is the healing situation, for some people in certain situations.
I don't necessarily think it's the healthiest way to go about healing.
Yeah.
So
That's
what I'm saying is, for the majority of people, it's not going to be what people think it is. I've worked, I don't want to go too in deep. I've been around certain people and certain things. That world is seedy and shady as fuck.
Yeah, it is.
It's shady, and it's all interlinked with drugs.
Yes,
and it's all interlinked
money
with
trafficking.
Masking.
and not even just people in this country that don't have citizenship, so they're not even getting the
they
money.
don't have rights.
You think they're doing all of this stuff for the money?
like
They're not even
trafficking
getting it.
and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone else is taking it.
Pimping and
Also.
stuff.
So,
yeah, it's sad.
and I'm one of them. you are your own person. You choose to do what you want to do. My sister is quite judgmental of people that are in that world that sell certain things because she doesn't do that. So for her, because she set that standard, I'm thinking, okay, my sister doesn't need all that money. She raises a kid. She does certain things. So I feel like maybe other people shouldn't have to do it, or the people that I'd want to be with in the future, I'd like to think that they didn't sell pictures of their body to a man.
So can I ask the girls then?
Who wasn't worshipping it either. He was doing some seedy stuff with them photos.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
it gets passed about and that. So can I ask the girls then? What do you believe that when girls are exploiting images of themselves and making money out of it on any website, on any forum, on any...
Sorry, why do you use the word exploit?
Because you're getting money for something that naturally you haven't worked for, you haven't had to do anything for. It's not in a negative...
Is that not singing?
Nah, because
singing takes a lot of training.
Not necessarily.
That man could be horny. You can go and deal with him and get rid of that horniness, but instead you're going to take his money.
The question I want to ask,
I'm saying,
the question I want to ask is the question I want to ask is when
that is there.
The question I want to ask is when a woman sells images of herself, does that take away a value of her at all?
No, I think like you can't judge. For me, if someone's insecure and you're saying like they're selling images of yourself and you're saying like if you have the idea that they are lowering their value by doing that, and I just feel like you're either judging them because they're proud of their body or they're insecure, and I just feel like either way, how is that something for you to pass judgment on?
I personally don't think it's for anyone to say other than that person who's doing it.
Okay.
And like that person who's...
You can't tell somebody they have self-respect.
No, I'm not saying we're going to tell them. I'm just saying
out of context, like one singular person, why someone has taken that picture and decided to sell it online or do whatever they've done with it is for their own personal reasons and their own personal gain, and there's no same reason as to why anybody does it, and it's not because, I was raped when I was young.
I have something controversial to say about this.
But then you mentioned, are they less valuable? I don't think anyone's less valuable for the choices that they make.
So then do we scale back a sec then and work out what the word value actually means and how value is calculated?
It's based on the person.
No, one sec. Value's not based on an individual at all.
Of course it is.
Yeah,
no,
it is.
What another person values.
Value is based on, let's say you have one of something in the world and only one of that something in the world, and it's rare. It's very rare because it's only one of it.
Yeah.
And
But not everyone's going to value that.
But the market value for that one particular thing, regardless, is higher than if there's 10 of the same thing.
No.
You can't say no.
There's stuff billionaires buy that's
sec.
really rare that none of us would care about.
It's not, but it doesn't take away the value of it.
sense.
Like those Russian
Well,
eggs,
it
for
kind of
example.
does. I could argue it does take away the value of it.
Like a Fenerbahce egg, for example, they're worth tens in the 20s of thousands because there's so...
Yeah, but if only three people want it.
Because there's so few of them. There's so few of them is the key thing. Value isn't decided...
It doesn't matter.
Value isn't decided by market hunger. It's decided by lack of. And value is decided by scarcity on the market.
No, money value... You're only talking about supply and demand. Because you're conflating monetary value.
Absolute. That is the absolute definition of the word value.
No, that's in a free market. That's in a free market.
I've not mentioned business. I've not mentioned finance.
But that's what you're talking about.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about the definition of value
in a free market.
No, it's not about a free market. It's a simple definition of the word value. No monetary figure attached to it at all. Scarcity represents value.
Value's a construct.
Can I just add something? I think, like, us as a human race are too analytical. And why are we even using the word value? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if we're talking about values, then it's got to be like, well, my values are totally different to what your values are. Like, you're a chef, for example. You have a load of knives, and you're like, these knives are fucking sick. I'm like, it was a knife. It does a fucking job. Do you know what I'm saying?
But the value doesn't change.
You can't decide somebody else's worth. Like,
I'm not saying you can't.
That is what you're saying by value.
No, if you listen to the first sentence
excuse me, you're
said,
talking over me. Excuse me.
The first thing I said
excuse me. So I decided to actually Google the definition of value since you wanted to make up definitions. Noun, the regard that something is held to deserve, the importance, worth, or usefulness of something. Another definition is...
no mention of money in definition 1.
Principles or standards of behaviour, one's judgment of what is important in life.
No mention of money in definition 2.
Verb, estimate the monetary worth of.
Verb.
2, consider someone or something to be important or beneficial have a high opinion of.
No mentioning
perspective
money
comes in.
in definition 3 either. So when you were talking about money, you were wrong. I weren't talking about money, and I wasn't talking about free market.
Your perception of value.
And
Yeah,
the key thing you have to remember is when I first started saying what I was saying was, let's step back a second. The original question was, do women lose value when they share those images? Everyone said no.
Okay, can I
how
answer
they
then?
feel.
So there's 7 billion of us and we're all unique. We all have our own intrinsic value. So when you're saying it's the scarcity, everybody has their own inherent value because you will never find another person like that again. So does it affect their value? No, because there's only one of all of us.
But we can talk on the masses though.
We have a question, which is aimed for the ladies.
Okay.
The person said, what if it was your daughter's? Question for the women. So in terms of your daughter having those images and being engaging in transactional nudity, how would you feel about that?
As long as she's safe.
I was going to say, I'm most
long as
concerned
she's
about
safe.
her safety. I'm not going to lie. I'm more concerned about how are the people like that she interacts with. How are they responding to it? What's it doing to her sense of self?
Is it safe once it's left
Everybody's
there?
situation is different. Like, for example, wait, my mind's just gone completely blank. What the hell?
That's all right. It was about, if it was your daughter and they were on OnlyFans and...
I said, would you want that better?
How
Yes,
would you
that
feel?
was it. Yeah. So everyone's situation is different. So for me, I would only care if she's being safe, and her like digital footprint is a thing. Like if you're gonna go down that route, okay, well what is your future saying? Like what do you actually want for yourself, and is this actually going to benefit you in the future? If it's not going to take away from what she potentially wants, do whatever you want.
But I believe
I
will
wouldn't
take
want
away,
that
and she
though.
wouldn't know.
I'm not gonna lie. Just because my main question would be, why? The first question is why.
Yeah.
Why do you want to do it?
I've sold my kidneys, so my kid don't have to do that.
Exactly.
Right.
Like
You know what
I
I'm saying?
think it's the repercussions that could eventually come from these photos, and why who.
And where do they go once they leave
where are they
your
going? Who
domain?
they going
Like,
to?
that's what scares me.
Yeah, like-
I think every woman has considered making a quick dollar. Yeah, I feel like I grew up in a generation where a lot of my friends became strippers. A lot of those strippers became escorts. And there's times where I'm like, you know what, that lifestyle's looking good. She's got all these handbags. She's doing her hair all the time. Her nails are fixed. She's living a good life.
Trust me,
but
they're not.
as time went on, I saw those, those masks kind of drop. And actually,
Money's not everything.
money isn't everything. And it's also, I think, putting myself in the life of the women who were doing those things, it's like, it wasn't just about the money. It's about a guy is looking for company. He's looking for conversation that he can't have with his wife. So there's this emotional exchange as well. You're consoling each other. And I think it is actually a form of trauma bonding in my opinion.
In my opinion, like, this is controversial, but if you're going to have casual sex, for me, paying for it makes more sense because one, there's all these risks, STIs, getting pregnant. At least you're paying, and that's like what do you call it? Not insurance, but like, do you know what I
Controlled
mean?
kind of situation.
And
Like if you're doing it for free, you're just taking on all of these risks for free. One night stand, you're taking on all of that,
Yeah.
and you're not even getting anything.
Trust me, for all men out there, don't go to Brasgaff.
Brasgaff,
It's soul destroying.
What does that mean?
Another
Walk
thing,
out there.
what does that mean?
It's not clarity.
What do you call
Like,
it? A
oh my
brothel?
god,
Oh, a brothel.
40 quid back, mate.
Come on, you've
Decisions,
been there.
decisions we make when we
Can
young.
can you talk us
you're gonna have to
through
delve
an
in deeper because
experience?
we-
Talk to
I
us
don't know
because
anything
women
about
don't get to go to brothels. So guys, tell us how it goes when you
no,
go in.
don't.
No, we need to hear
What's
this.
the customer journey, Aaron?
It's so seedy.
Exactly. They've probably been kidnapped.
I can't speak on
know what I mean?
high end. I don't know, but they're just. It's a seedy environment.
That is exploitation.
You walk in there.
I don't care what anyone says. That is
You
exploitation.
walk in there and you can just smell broken
Yeah.
dreams. Broken dreams in the
I
air.
don't even want to know what
Oh,
the smell is.
gosh.
Yeah, broken dreams, and it's just like
Is it interesting?
I've had some serious conversations.
Yeah,
with
yes,
that, but-
Have you seen like?
Do you pay for that time in
I'm guessing you see, like,
conversation?
other men in there.
Sorry. What? Two
Sorry.
questions. What?
You go.
I'm guessing you see like other men in there as well. Is that the situation?
Do you walk past the
What do you mean
women?
see other
Do you
men?
see each other? Is there a waiting room?
Also, it depends. If you go into one of the public, like, turn up to town ones, like, yeah.
Isn't there like a sex club in Salford?
He knows them.
Do you know where I'm talking about? That place is
Have you been?
not that I've been there.
Obviously,
No, I
but
haven't.
it varies. You got swingers.
Have you ever? Obviously, you're there for your own reasons.
Yeah.
But like, have you ever actually taken a look around the room and seen how these men actually look at these women? Just
I am. The one thing I'll say is when I go into them places, I am so respectful compared to like, oh, you all right, ladies? How's your day? This, that, the other. Back then, like,
Chivalry.
you're a human beings. I see
Chivalry in
man
a
come in on
brothel.
point and be like, literally, the girl stood where
Yeah.
you're stood now. It's like, yeah, uglier. Next one, and I'm just like, obviously,
do
I'm
you
not
get
going to
that
sit
makes
there
me
and
wanna
go in,
vomit.
let's say cultural.
Nah, because they all come out and they stand there
Uncomfortable,
in a line.
It's a human fucking being. Like, okay, like I'm one of them, innit? It doesn't mean I have to respect you for your job choices, but I'm not like, why would I want to
Disrespect.
actively disrespect you?
Right.
Like I don't have any. I don't care about the situation enough to dislike you. Like, it's just I'm coming in here. I want a service. You get me? Like,
Yeah.
I have a question.
But why would you pay?
I have a
don't get
question.
is why would you pay?
Yeah, because
Sorry.
it's not like you guys are not able to catch
Do you know what it
girls.
is? Do you know what it is?
So,
You go there.
what
you go
makes
there.
you decide?
You go there, listen, I tell you, you go there, it's 4 a.m., you've been out all night, and then one of the lads go brass house. You go there, you get a hand job, and you go.
crazy.
And then one of the lads takes it
different
further.
experiences.
Like, one of the lads will come out, like, one of my boys went in there, and he came out. I'm not even going to say his name. He goes, yeah, I licked her out. You know, I was like, wow.
yeah, that's
Boy, that is criminal,
that's
bro.
wild.
So you're not allowed to do oral sex at brass gas, basically.
Nah, why would you want to?
No, I'm not. I wouldn't. Personally, I wouldn't.
Nah,
Why would you even go in?
you're allowed to go in there, and if you got money, you can do whatever the fuck you want. The guy will take the condom off
So-
if you got enough money.
Nah, you don't want that to happen, no. You
Stop
don't want that to
shit.
happen.
No, you
Don't want that
care how
to
much
happen.
money you've got, you don't want that to happen.
Yo,
But,
that's mad.
But what shocks me was the amount of guys that I know that pay for unprotected sex.
Yeah, no, that's mad.
That
Oh, is
baffles-
it?
baffles my head.
Really?
but
Why
that's
don't everyone just have like, I call it a sexual MOT. If I'm getting into something and we're going into sexual grounds, you go get your
checked.
shit, show me your thing,
Go
and I'll
get
do the same.
Literally.
You know what I mean? Let's do our clean sheets from
in
now.
situations with girls, you do that, innit?
Right.
But when you go into a place like this, you
don't.
do that. You're
No.
not gonna bring up your results and that.
No,
like, nah,
100%.
fuck all that.
That's mad. This is so interesting.
Yeah.
Imagine
Do you know what I was thinking as well
girls.
before? I was thinking it before, like you to run about a lot of these sex workers and stuff, and a lot of you don't really know what the interactions look like because you.
No,
So tell us,
I do.
tell
But
us
no,
the
I'm not saying.
customer
I'm not,
journey,
no,
Aaron.
in the sense of like,
Please do.
the only way you would know is if you were one of the girls in that doing it. Do you know what I mean? So I'm saying the full extent. You may have seen it, like witnessed it third person, but I'm saying like the interaction between person A and person B in it.
I've had conversations with an escort about her going to literally, she's about to go on the school run. She's about to leave
Yeah.
here and go on
I've
the
made
school run.
good friends with
Because at the
strippers.
end of the day,
Very good
it's a
friends with
job,
strippers.
isn't it? Like,
I've got
you're
friends
still-
who are like, I used to be best friends with a girl who was an escort. So one time I waited outside the hotel while she was with this guy who I honestly really didn't want her to go anywhere with because like your biggest concern is obviously that they just don't come out alive or something like that. But
Men ain't it.
lots of them are like, honestly, they're lonely and a lot of them want conversation. And if they've got, it's not cheap. Like most of them, they're not necessarily rich, but like they're going to be a bit older and they've got like money, like
Bored of
free
their
money
wives
to
or something,
spend.
innit?
Yeah.
I think that's the ultimate level of cheating because you're not even going for sex, you're going for emotional connection.
Yeah.
Like,
How's that
wrong.
different
What
to
a
a
mess.
therapist though?
Right.
Exactly.
It's not
No,
really.
You're not
Go to
fucking your
No, it is.
Well, what kind of therapy is that then?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Quick hit
Therapist isn't giving you a cheeky.
Yeah.
happy ending.
Do you know what? I think all the issues could easily be solved if you just bring all the women who ain't from the West to the West and just let them see life here and then let the Western girls see how the rest of the women of the rest of the world live life and appreciate things.
like where the boss and the employer switch over.
Yeah. Life swap.
Yeah, because
Life
honestly, do you know what? A lot of the girls that when you travel the world and stuff, a lot of the girls they appreciate life differently, man.
Appreciate
do.
that.
And I understand this because when I moved to Dubai, I noticed that people in the hospitality sector, they were so much more like happy to be doing hospitality jobs, whereas here I feel like it's a chore. Out there, if you've got your maid, people are filling up your petrol tank, they're like, yes ma'am, no sir. The hospitality level is high and the people in hospitality appear to enjoy that,
but
whereas here it's like
it's relative though.
I feel like there's a culture of that in any business. For example, when I'm hiring, I've last year I was hiring girls left, right, and centre. I was desperate, and I would assume that these girls were desperate or wanting to make money or wanted to learn something. I had people, like multiple people, not showing up, and I think there's just a culture here. Whereas, whereas
British culture is
Westernized culture is like entitled
and lazy.
I believe that.
definitely.
I agree.
Like
100%.
the same way we were saying a lot of girls go to OnlyFans because of like past traumas. I think a lot.
Drug dealing.
Well, yeah, as well. But I also think men go to drug dealing and girls, go to OnlyFans and things like that because of employment issues here as well.
Are drug dealers exploiting people?
Yes.
So OnlyFans girls ain't drug dealers.
No.
Strippers exploit men's horniness.
No, because when you're dealing with people who have addictions and who are seriously
like
ill,
porn addiction,
like sex. We've got many friends.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
you know what?
Sex and drugs.
Same thing.
But
man.
I still don't think
So
it's exploitation.
are the bars exploiting people then?
For alcoholics. 100%, mate. 100%.
The government
When you're
are
charging
exploiting
a
people
tenner.
and creating these addictions. I facilitating. Feel like the government are enable all of these things.
Yeah.
Like what's legal and what's not. Because even, for example, drug dealing, let's talk about weed. Here, you're smoking weed, you're going to be getting done. You can't smoke and drive, for example. But in a country where that's legal, completely different set of rules, completely different set of consequences, and therefore the stigma is different. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean, like who actually decides what's moral. And like I feel like
and legal.
a lot of people just go, they think because it's the law of the laws this way that is moral, but that's not actually how it works.
Right.
When you think about things.
That's one thing I had to say about my dad. He raised me to, is like, yo, son, in this life, there'll be laws, there'll be certain things. You make you sit and think about it. You make a decision on what you think's right or wrong, and you make your own laws. And obviously, that's probably why I'm in this situation. But yeah, there's certain things that I just.
It can get you in trouble.
It can get
that
you in
mentality.
trouble, so I don't promote it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there was a time when beating up your wife was legal. There was a time.
Exactly.
There was a time when slavery was
Raping
legal.
your wife.
backhand
Listen,
their
can I
wives.
just say something? Raping your wife only became illegal in 91. I think it was 1991.
It's still
you were
it's
allowed
still legal
to
in so many
rape
countries.
your wife until 1991.
Yeah, and the
That's
argument
mad.
was because apparently
That's a duty.
It's a need.
That's what it was.
It's
That's what it was.
human,
Isn't it?
It's still legal in so many countries.
Yeah,
It's still legal.
Do you know what's mad?
Fucking
Do you know when I was like in Vietnam and stuff, and I met a bunch of like Vietnamese people. They're all like married at like the age of 23, 24, and they're all like married off, having their first kid.
bro, 50 years ago,
Yeah,
it
married
was
and
normal
that.
here. You'd be married off by
Marriage culture. Who thinks marriage culture in the West is dead?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
It's died, innit?
I
Why do you
do.
think? Why do you think that is? Though?
But that's because women have more rights. Before it was like, oh, you need a man to chaperone
I just feel
you.
like
Wait,
it's
hold
like
on.
like
How
that.
can you say that
Weed
when
and
I've
all
just
that.
been to a country where it's the same, where women have the same rights as men, and they're still getting married at such a young age?
They don't have the same
Culture.
rights as...
I
In
feel
Vietnam,
like
yes,
here-
they do.
No, they don't.
Yes,
So
they do.
diverse.
Yes,
They
do.
know
Yes,
their
they do.
laws are not
He is being-
Yes,
less
they do.
restricted
Yes, they
than
do.
ours.
Yes,
No,
they do.
in the
Yes,
Nam.
they do.
not.
Yes, they do.
In the Nam,
Yes, they
it's
do.
pretty.
It's the same.
Aaron's singing a song.
It's the
here.
same.
It's pretty
No, they're
equal.
not.
It's the same.
We're gonna edit it. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
It's because I've got a beautiful voice.
Obviously, he's Vietnamese, so
What do you mean by they're equal? Please, examples.
The men and women have equal rights in
I
Vietnam.
need an example.
So
The
So-
same
the
way
so-
you have equal rights here, they have their.
But you know that we don't actually have equal rights here. The
Expand
same
on that.
way that...
we have
the-
equal
the-
rights on paper.
The same way, no, that this law was only passed in 1991. Do you think that's the only law that's the only law
I
that...
don't know. You'd have to
That
educate
same
us.
thing that
affects-
at this present moment. Yeah, obviously, there's certain things now that
Doesn't
need to
make
be
sense.
changed.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
those things are the unequalness.
All right, so what right
not
do
as
you?
extreme.
What right do you think me and Otis have that none of you lot have?
You can walk outside when it's dark. It's not written on paper.
No. Sorry,
Oh
you can
my
walk. No.
days.
Let me make it clear. You can walk outside when it's dark,
Gets
and you've
ridiculous
still
every time.
got. If anything, I'd say you're more likely to get robbed, but I'm more likely to die.
Yeah.
Because man will pull out a knife, and you really think I'm giving him my shit? Am I fuck?
Yeah, but when we both, like, end of the party, who's walking home? Is it the guy or the girls? Clearly, guys aren't that fussed that they're going to die because they do go.
Is that right?
Nah,
Is that right?
but for the first 25 years of life, I carried a knife in my... Obviously, I don't condone it. Yeah, but for the first... I was terrified. You know what I'm saying? So I carried a knife everywhere I went.
Yeah, but women are terrified. We're terrified we're going to die. We're terrified we're going to get dragged into an alley.
But I could get dragged into an alley.
What she's saying is that...
I'm not saying you...
Like you
Can I listen to
you
Molly?
made your own conscious choice to carry a knife down the street, but that's not taught. Like that, you don't get taught that.
Oh, I wasn't taught that. Yeah.
As females, we all know we've had the talk from the parents. When you walk home, it's starting to get dark. Walk home with your keys in between your fingers.
Yeah.
The mirror.
For me, it's just from experience. I've almost been kidnapped multiple
That's
times.
all good and well, but this has nothing to do with the question.
But you still have the right to go out.
She was like, go and knock on. If you feel like someone's following you, always go and knock on someone's door and just be like, I feel like someone's following me. Can I come in for a minute and call my mum? But like you as men, that.
You think if I knocked on someone's door and said, "Can I come in and speak to my mum?" They'd be like, "Fuck off."
Then what we're saying is we have to be taught that. Like we have to be taught that. As
for our own
as a
safety.
male, you have a better chance of survival than women do.
But what I'm saying is, you was talking about the right. That you've got the right to walk out. What I'm saying is, we've all got that right. There's smaller guys out there now. There's probably a guy smaller than you that's like will probably get fisted up.
We're talking more here about privilege then. Like,
That's true.
I'm sorry, the right of safety to feel safe. Do you know why I feel safe? Because I made a conscious decision from a certain age that I'm not like I'm going to protect myself. My sister will walk comfortable on the street same way I will. She'll write a man off the same way I will. But she understands it's like. Obviously, it can happen, innit? Like
I know, but bro, we've gone completely off the question,
no,
innit?
She's saying to feel safe. It's the thing of feeling safe.
No privilege. I'm not.
No, we were saying on paper, what you were saying they're equal. I was saying, I don't think they are equal. And then you were saying, what right does a guy have that a woman...
And you were saying to
Doesn't
walk
have.
out.
But that's not a right. That's
No,
not
you're
a
right. You're right. It's not a right.
So can you name a right that you
scared
have,
too.
you don't
It's
have that
hard
I
to-
have?
It's hard to
Yeah,
name
that
from
have.
the top of your head.
Google it then. You can all Google it.
What the hell? I asked you to Google it.
What do you want me to Google? Sorry.
I wanted to... You were saying we have completely equal rights. And I was saying, like, prove it.
What
I love
rights
it when these two go at each other.
do men have
It's quiet.
in the UK that women don't?
But it's not necessarily like that. It's like you have a judge.
Right, I'm not going to use Quora because that's a bullshit thing.
You have the judge, and the judge is
Right, so
influenced
you tell me
by
a source.
society and just general sexism. So say it comes to a rape case now.
Women will always get looked at like they're in the right.
Nah. Oh no,
You
please
clearly
don't. Do
don't
not
know.
trigger the
Don't
fuck out
do
of me.
this.
Don't.
No, you don't.
Don't trigger me on that.
Well, I'll just say that
supposed to be on our side.
despite being equal, all these sexist things are completely apparently valid arguments in court. They will ask, "What are you wearing?"
Right.
They will.
Why
ask,
was you
sorry,
skirt
sorry,
short?
sorry.
What were you doing? Were you drinking
Why were you-
alcohol?
why were you naked red?
Sorry.
Why
One thing
are
I
you
will
wearing
say is that you're damn right. The defence will sit down there and tear into you. I'm not saying they're not.
Yeah, but I'm saying the fact that that's a valid
But we're not
argument
gonna-
when you're
listen,
talking about
when
rights.
you come
Okay,
in
but
and
do you
say
reckon-
you've been sexually assaulted, right? For example, I've been spiked.
Yeah.
How do you prove that? Yeah, you have
Exactly.
to
I
get
got spiked
tested.
in
You have
my
to get
own bar. I
tested
got spiked
within.
in my own bar.
Apparently, that's not illegal, but
drink someone
you have to
else's
do it within
spiked?
24.
That's
No,
why then.
you
I
have
got
to
spiked
do
in
that
my own
within
bar.
24 hours to get
is
that
not
out
legal.
of your blood.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
people can get away with that. I was actually raped when I was 16 years old. I went to the police against my better judgment because my friend told me to, and it was a family friend. So my best friend, it was her big brother.
Oh no.
And I fancied him, which made it even
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to like talk about this because it's something that changed me forever, and I didn't know how to deal with it because I didn't understand that I'm going to freeze.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything.
That's the thing. And sometimes for me, you don't want it. For me, sounds really disturbing, but I don't want to scream because I'm going to remember the sound of my screams and me saying this.
I
So I'm
can't
going to be
even
quiet.
put myself in the
Otherwise it's gonna be
mindset
traumatic.
to be like, why didn't I just froze?
Yeah.
End of. So I went to the police anyway. The guy apologized the next day, like by a message, because I think he knew. My guy was 12 years older than me. I'm 16. He's 28, and
Disgusting.
he's a big brother. My friend had two older brothers, and he was the bigger one. And obviously that happened, and I thought, you know what? Rape is rape. I'm going to go to the police. And I did that. I went through a year of court case and I did all that. Another girl came forward during my court case from London. They fled to London. I was getting bullied by his whole family to withdraw my statement. And I thought, how can you sisters be on his side and come for me, knowing full well I don't want to lose you guys. I don't want to lose you as friends, but I'm not just saying this as a fucking joke. But anyway, he got off with it because the judges ruled there was cameras in the car park where it happened, and they said we can't determine rape from rough sex. And what he said is that we waited until I was 16 to do it, and that's how I knew. Because even I was wondering, did he rape me? Even though I told him no, stop, get off me, I was wondering whether I got raped because I didn't mash him up, didn't stab him, didn't try to get out the car. Like I felt like I could have done more. So I'm wondering, did I actually get raped? The answer is yeah, because you were vocal with your no. You are 16 years old, this guy's almost 30, and it took me a long time to digest that.
That age dynamic is a madness in itself. So irrelevant to legalities, that's wrong. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but when you're
what
talking
he
about
said.
rights, like the rights should have been in place for you for that for just because
It's impossible to prove.
it is.
Yeah,
it
but
is
it's
really
all on
difficult to prove.
camera.
What rights could
They had
they
my
have?
clothes. They took my fucking clothes. They looked at my text messages where he apologised the next day. And it's like, so how
problem-
do you choose his version over mine? Because I'm arguing
that just
your
shows you
point.
that the rights,
No,
like, the rights aren't equal.
That tells you the police. Obviously, the police. So the way that they police it, it's the problem is it's impossible to prove.
Right.
It's impossible
It is
to
hard to
prove.
prove.
Obviously, this is where it gets mad, and it's like, well, maybe no, I can't.
Yeah,
obviously,
maybe
I'm
if
not-
you fought harder or didn't wear a short skirt or didn't try and go out when you were 16.
Well, I don't know.
Instead
if
of
there's
18.
Maybe if there's a parent
you know what
around,
it is?
like a father, to say, where the fuck are you going? What do you mean you're going in a thing with 30 or so? And then by the time you're of age where you can then understand, maybe I shouldn't put myself, or you maybe would be more comfortable to fight back. Because obviously there's fear.
I didn't get in the club. This is the whole thing.
like,
he was outside the
He
club.
was someone
I
you
didn't get in.
trusted anyway.
He was
Like-
someone
Yeah,
I
he was
trusted.
Yeah, it's not
and
just
that's the whole
anybody.
thing.
The age
This
gap
is the
wasn't
whole
weird.
thing.
He's a trusted person.
Right?
Nah,
and that's
age
where it
gap's
always
weird.
weird.
No, the age gap's weird, but I'm saying for them to be in
that
interaction with each other because of who he was.
Because he said, I'm going to drop you home because I
Exactly.
didn't get into the nightclub. I was going out from early because I wasn't allowed friends in my house. My mum didn't like people coming in the gaff. I had to go outside, and I was going outside because I was trying to escape. It was escapism, really. I'd just been in gymnastics for my whole life. And when I got injured and came out of gymnastics, I'm like, right, I'm going to like go out, have a good time and be free. So I'm rebelling and I'm out here trying to escape. But that particular night, like I said, I was offered a lift and the club was in like Oxford Road area. I live in Longsight. His friend lived in Wivenshaw. So he goes all the way to Wivenshaw to drop his friend off before dropping me off when I'm round the corner. I was like, what you doing? Can you drop me off home first? We're already on the motorway down Princess Parkway, so I felt like I knew
You knew exactly what it is.
something was going on.
was off, innit?
Something was off. So I had my guard up. But like I said, I think for me, I wondered because I actually fancied him afterwards.
Makes you question.
It made me question myself, and I thought, is it? And you have to really deep it, don't you?
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
think
it's like when you see those questions, like if a girl comes during rape, is it still rape? And
Right.
It's still rape, 100%.
Yeah.
What I'll say now, is obviously the police asked questions and they investigated in things that made you very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it's made the other girls upset and kind of like against it, and there should be new rights in place for women in this situation. But let's play devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say
You're always playing devil's
Well, this is what we're here to do.
Well, we've got a friend.
let's-
I'm not. We
let's-
won't name,
let's-
but
let's-
we've got someone that we know that.
let's say your son grew up and he's wrongly accused. Would you not want them to be investigating heavily?
You'd want him to be investigating properly either way.
That's my point. So I think there's pros and cons for these procedures, and I also understand that how these procedures can go wrong.
But when it comes to what was you wearing, what's that got to do with
I
it?
don't
Yeah,
know.
because then that goes against the guy.
I just think.
I know it's-
I just think there might be. I'm not a police officer. I'm not a detective, but it might be a case of, well, they might need to work out exactly how entry had happened, for example. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
The police come, it's not about
But
them
all these
figuring
questions, I don't think they're trying to make you. I don't think they're trying to disprove you, if you know what I mean.
Nah,
Sometimes
They
might
are.
do-
They are. They have to. But
Yeah,
sometimes
that's
they
the
Again,
have
it
to.
prosecution's
comes back
job.
to the
That's the defense's
sexualisation
job.
of
The
women.
prosecution.
Nah, they
prosecution
have to do
on
also
your side,
disprove,
you're the
though.
prosecution.
to protect possibly the guy who's being
accused.
Yeah, exactly. It has to be
That's
fair.
important.
I've had a friend who's been arrested at his doorstep for rape with Bagman there. Before when he got to the station, straight away took his cuffs off. Sorry, we need to release you. A story's too inconsistent. And the sad thing was, the girl had been raped, but she didn't want to accuse it from the guy that was actually the rapist.
Oh, that's really silly.
It was some dark. It's obviously in that situation. I'm like, fuck her. My mum's saying, no, she's been through trauma. You need to understand in certain situations.
No excuse. I'm sorry. You're
me
messing with someone's life.
Me personally,
yeah.
that's
I
my
don't
thing.
know. Well, it's like, did she definitely know who did it?
Well, to my knowledge, I didn't take time to sit down and ask her because my thing after that was, fuck you. What do you mean you're accusing? And it was the boy that it was as well. He's not even like us. We can kind of aggressively flirt. We're the type of guys to go out. Yes, Lee, is what you're saying. Like, come here.
Is he a bit more like?
He's not like that. He's a nice guy. You know what I'm saying? So when I've heard that, I'm like, obviously maybe I shouldn't have made that judgment because I didn't know 100%. But thank God the police confirmed it for me before. Boom. I didn't even need to think about that. It was like, no, her story is inconsistent, which means can't you? Got dropped. Another friend. I'm not going to go into same wave just in case. Similar things that got dragged out and could have actually been something. But luckily, luckily in the situation, it can't be proven. It like rape, technically speaking, it can't be proven unless how they do prove it is either trauma to certain areas.
Yeah, physically.
You've got physical.
Trauma, bruises, trauma down there. But if you don't even know a trauma down there, because if it can be traumatic down there consensually,
right.
You know what I'm saying, depending on what man,
exactly.
you know what I'm saying. So it can't be proven. It's a hard one to prove. And the fact, I think, both people, obviously it can be traumatic. If you've just been raped and now you've got some guy cross-examining you, like, well, did you really?
Yeah,
swabbing. Yeah, maybe you were moving a bit promiscuous. Maybe you liked it. You know what I'm saying? That, and especially if she can't emotionally take that, then obviously I understand that.
And I think
it's
for
me, it's a very hard one.
Yeah, at that age, at 16, I was like, what the fuck is this kind of thing? And I never wanted to go anywhere.
They make you feel like you're the person who's done something wrong.
Exactly.
No, I know.
Also, understandably, as someone, say, like if we were to examine someone who had gone through all that, how do you approach it? Do you know what I mean? How what is the correct way to approach it without
with compassion?
What, the lying?
Yeah, but what if they're lying, innit?
What if they're lying? Well, if they're lying...
Because it happens.
Well, if they're lying and you've done the correct investigation, hopefully you'll be able to...
But a compassionate investigation may not be the correct one. It may not be the thing that makes them slip up.
But like, you need like a balance of both. If they're doing, hopefully, a proper investigation, then you'll get to the lie. I mean, it's like with any, like, criminal thing, they try and get to the lie.
Yeah, but look at how many guys have been wrongly convicted.
Right. Do you know how many guys I know that are walking around currently who are rapists?
Yeah.
Same, bro.
Do you know,
same.
It's sickening versus how many people
sickening.
are... It's not even...
What thing is for me is the amount
you
of
can't
girls
even
that
measure how many are falsely accused versus just...
Report rape?
No, because why would you put yourself through that?
Exactly.
Why would you? Because you're on trial.
Exactly.
I know this is where my mum says it's like, it's your duty for the next person.
Mic, bro.
Oh, sorry. It's your duty. It's your duty to do things in a sense. So in a sense, the next person gets the confidence to do it.
And I think some of them guys also know that because of their status, it's less likely to be raised and challenged and even less likely to be successful. And then they know that the women are less likely to challenge it. And I think...
Sorry, can I ask?
Sorry, go on.
Because one thing, I spoke to someone recently, a girl who basically says that in these situations, she always assumes that the guy is a rapist.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And I was quite... I tried to not get triggered or angry.
Mad.
I tried to speak through it. And when she kind of explained to me, I kind of understood where she's coming from. But at the same time, it's like... For me, there's nothing more. I don't even like the idea of sleeping with someone that don't want to sleep with me.
Yeah,
I
okay.
want the idea of someone that wants me and I want you back.
Yeah, but
you get me?
What about sleeping with someone who's drunk? Can I ask about this?
I'll tell you something. Can I share our story? Just a piece of it.
You can, yeah.
So basically, we was drunk in a party, and then we ended up like doing a thing with a girl, But before we done anything, this is how we move, right? I'll put my phone on record on the side.
I've never done this because...
Shut the fuck up, boys.
I've never done this. I was a pro at this thing. I'm like...
Shut your mouth.
I'm like,
do you know what it is?
Consensual...
do you know what it is? It's because of the things that you hear at this table, for example. I ain't stupid. So check this. I put my phone on record and put it on the side. Not recording nothing, but just recording the conversation. So there's the consent boom, done, we're secure, before anything had even happened. Because when you're drunk, you never know. With a situation, someone could wake up the next day and have absolute regret, and then they'll make a claim or an allegation against you, and that's the last thing I could like. There's certain traumas in my life here that lead me to behave like that. Yeah. Like this is why, for example, when you hear about all this shit with Philly in Australia, the first thing I said in the group chat with the lads was, "Well, he's a dumbass, anyways, because he's so famous. He should have been prepped for this kind of stuff, and he should. Not saying he should be signing NDAs every single weekend with anyone he's with, but there should be procedures that he's in himself gonna be putting down." And laying down his boundaries and preparing himself for the worst scenarios. Same way your friend or whoever's friend it was says that they just assume every guy's a rapist. Same way I'll assume that I could get accused of some fuckery, which I'm never going to do. So I'll always prepare for that because it's
the way that the world is now. We've got to all protect.
Do you know what it is though? It's one of my worst ever current nightmares.
Yeah.
I could not think. I'd rather hang myself than do that to someone. And I couldn't think of anything worse.
And her argument was surely because. Purely because all men are capable, and I was like, I'll be honest, I don't think physically.
But earlier we were talking about sexual discipline, and you were saying that
I think
men is less sexual.
No, that's different because
how is it? That's where it's confusing. Where you're saying,
I don't understand your question. Sorry.
Discipline is like wanting sex. And wanting a girl that wants me and is going to...
Yeah, don't get me wrong, we're not animals, by the way.
But looking at a girl on the street, I can look at a stunner on the street.
And just be like, wow.
And if she gives me a look back like you're not my type, then now instantly I'm just like, oh, well...
Respect the boundary.
Okay.
It's like, I don't want you now.
Yeah.
Like, so I'd obviously... I can't fathom what would ever want to make a guy force himself on a girl because there's no situation where I could think that would be pleasurable for me. It's like my mum says it's nothing to do with sex, it's all to do with control. You get me? It's like these men just want to control it.
It is. I want to tell a story, but I'm like, it's probably a bit traumatic.
Yeah.
Could I tell it?
If you want to.
Oh yeah, I'll tell it. So I was friends with this guy, right? I met him on the internet. He used to live in the US. He was moving back to the UK. So my dad lives in London. So I don't know many people in London. So he was like, come over. We were actually friends for a couple years. We also used to smoke a lot together. So one time we decided that I was going to go and stay over at his house, basically, because he had his own house. And basically he started kissing me and I was like, yeah, no. Bear in mind, we're both really, really, really high. And then he just starts undressing me and I'm like, oh, no. And then I'm like, okay, I'll go with it, like, just so it's okay. And then, like, he just, like, wouldn't stop, kept going. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to start screaming, because if I start screaming, he's going to, like, stop.
Sorry, why would you go from absolutely nothing, though, to screaming? Like, would you like no, like, no.
No, because I was saying no, he wasn't stopping.
Yeah.
So I said, surely if I do a blood-curdling scream, that's going to make him want to stop. Yeah. No, turns me over and pushes my face into the floor.
Right, them guys there, I can't speak on them guys.
And, like, for me, from someone that's going for my friend, we've spent a lot of time together at this point. Like, I don't know, it's so weird, like, to think that they would put that power, like, and that thing they've got in their head on me, who's their friend, is, like, crazy. But again, it's like, I'm not going to tell the police. We were smoking shitloads of weed. We had loads of weed in the house. I wasn't really supposed to be, there. I was supposed to be staying at my dad's. I lied to him.
Yeah, we can't blame yourself, though. This is what's...
No, don't blame myself. I'm just saying reasons. I'm saying reasons I didn't, like... reasons that I didn't say anything to other people.
You said before, you don't understand why there's so many women out there that don't say things. You just kind of explaining your...
Right. Yeah. I'm not saying
so
I'm
it's
blaming...
drugs,
but
it's
also,
alcohol.
Like, same as you.
Well, like I say, you're smoking a spliff, so it was...
Same as you. I didn't even realise I'd been raped for ages. I know that sounds crazy.
No, it does take a long time to realise that, because you self-diagnose, like, how the world's going to perceive that situation.
Yeah, and then because I said kind of yes at the beginning, even though I did originally say no, and then I said yes, in my head,
you see your consent as being in that space with them alone.
Exactly.
And accepting the lift or accepting going through their threshold. That's where you think, well, I fucked up because I've put myself in that situation.
Exactly. That's what I thought when you put my face to the ground. I thought, I've fucked up so bad.
Wow.
I thought this guy's the devil and I didn't even see it.
So, one thing I will say from my past, the whole kind of like, I think Aaron can back me up on this in certain situations where the whole no thing. At this age now, if a girl says no, it's done, dada.
Safe.
Even if you like,
There's a fucking million girls in the world, safe.
it's more like no, sweet. Back then, no didn't mean no. It was like just try a bit harder. I don't know if it's our generation where it was like girls will no.
Yeah.
Then I stop. What are you doing? Why are you stopping?
Yeah.
I didn't actually mean no. I just didn't want to come across as promiscuous or easy.
Yeah.
And
I get that.
And then a lot of guys who might not have the emotional intelligence might take that as
playfulness.
Well then,
they think it's a challenge.
Yeah, I've just not pushed you to the point where you're saying yeah.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous. Obviously, that whole no means no. I feel like girls need to, when they say no, don't.
I think it's
end it there.
easiest to go, because you can go, no, or you can
No,
go,
stop.
no.
Yeah.
Nah, like literally no.
Nah, but I think at that no point as well, you need to walk out as well to let you know, like, this isn't a comfortable space no more, because not for guys like me, I'll pick up that stuff, but for a lot of guys that maybe don't or haven't been through relationships or certain things, they might think that's acceptable to apply that to the next girl, and that girl didn't. The first 3 girls never said no. The 4th girl's saying no, but you're still trying it. And it becomes...
But like for a woman, you're always, even if somebody does something to you, you're always thinking, I don't want to embarrass them. I still need to be polite. Like I've had, this is another
madness.
This is another
Why are you
fucked up
thinking that?
situation. But like I was in a situation in this hotel with me and my friends and these guys, and I ended up sharing a bed with this guy, and I said, don't touch me. Also, again, it's really high. So in the middle of the night, right? I wake up. No, the middle of the night, I wake up and my hand's moving, and I'm like, why is my hand moving? Because I'm half asleep.
Stop it.
And I'm trying to work out, and I'm just like, I'm so fucking confused. And then I'm like, trying to like, what? And then I'm like...
He was using your hand?
Yeah, he was using my hand to jack himself off.
Me.
But why in my head...
Why not just toss yourself off?
Why in my... how fucked up that is? But why in my head did I not want to make a fuss?
This is why you go to Nebraska.
And wake everybody up. I was thinking, I don't want to be embarrassing. Like,
no, I get it.
I mean,
my story's not as crazy as that.
So, I mean,
but
every woman has a story.
in terms of mine's never got to that point. But I was sharing it with Aaron the other day, and I was questioning, do I report this or do I not before it gets to something a bit serious? Because obviously I can't say I've been in a situation that you women have like that. And I'm blessed for that, you know. But so back in May, there was a guy who just like messaged me on Instagram, and he's not my type. So obviously I'm like, but maybe he just wants to be friends. You know, guys don't have to approach you with an intention of wanting to date you or anything. So obviously I'm being nice and like responding to him, and then obviously it leads into, oh, are you single? Like let's go out and date and whatnot. And I'm like, oh, I'm not really. I didn't want to tell him I wasn't into him. So I'm just like,
why not though? Like, you need to make it more of a norm thing.
Do you know why? Because I like it when guys approach me, and I don't want to be the one like, nah, I'm sorry.
But the problem is, because not enough girls are doing it, you're making these soft men with egos that can't be rejected. And then now that's why they're calling you a slag when you say no. You know what I'm saying? If you get rejected here, me and Aaron, we can take
I'm just a very polite person.
So half the time when I approach a length thing, I'll be like, I'm probably going to get rejected, but I'm still going to go.
Yeah, but anyway, let me finish my story. So anyway, in May, he's like, oh, like, I've seen around Cholton, and I just, like, at this point, this guy's a music producer, and he's quite well known in Manchester.
I think you're going to say, because I know.
And
couple dodgy ones.
And on his page, I can't see his picture, but he uploaded a story of him and his brother there. So I know he's not my type, or he's not someone that I'm attracted to, should I say. And obviously I've said, oh no, I'm focused on my business, like I'm not interested. So he goes, okay. No.
Oh, you didn't see that.
Sorry, babe. So then obviously left at that. A week later, he's messaged me again. And obviously, like, we're still following each other, because I thought, like there's no harm done there, like it is what it is, kind of thing. So he's messaged me a week later, and then he's like, oh, small talk again, and I'm just like being polite, and then he's like, oh, are you sure I can't take you around Cholton? Bear in mind, he says he's seen me around, and then on my Instagram as well, I've got my salon page at there as well. So he's like, oh, I've seen some of your work, looks good, blah blah blah. So he knows quite a bit about me and where I'm located. So obviously at this point, I'm like, right, I'm going to tell him directly, like, I'm not I was like, I'm flattered, but I'm kindly going to decline. Yeah. Like, I'm not looking for anything. And because it's been the second time he's asked, I'm like, right, I'm unfollowing him. Like, so he kind of gets, like, at that point, you just know, like,
he should have got
exactly.
it
So this is back in May. So tell me why August just gone. Someone's coming in for a manicure in my salon now. And I'm looking at this person. I'm like, I recognise this person, but I'm not sure. And I'm with a client. So obviously he's wanted a manicure, can't do him there and then. So he comes back half an hour later and he's now sat down in front of me and he's not saying anything. I've not double checked or cross-referenced on my Instagram. Is it that guy?
You've not even clocked the play.
But he just looks familiar, and I have a gut feeling like it's him. You just know.
Feel the energy.
But he's not mentioned anything. He's just sat there really calmly, not said anything.
Weird.
That is weird.
This is what I mean. This is
weird.
where I question like, am I overthinking or? Is there something to be, because now you're crossing boundaries at this point.
Yeah, coming to work, place to work.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm doing his manicure or whatnot, and I'm making small talk. It's my professional place of work, so obviously I'm not going to make it awkward. I know how to deal with this properly. Or so I'm just like, oh, how are you? Blah blah blah. Are you from Chilton? And he goes, yeah, I live across the road. Like literally block of flats facing the salon. So obviously. There's red flag number one. Well, multiple red flags, but here's another red flag. Like, you can literally, I'm at my salon late at night by myself, cleaning up, finishing off, like sometimes 2 a.m. in the morning. Do you know what I mean? By myself, the streets are quiet. And this is where it becomes a bit more concerning. So obviously, 10 minutes into his manicure, more red flags, of course. Our girl comes in. I'm like, she looks familiar. So anyway, I'm like, oh, have you got an appointment? She goes, no. She walks straight over to this guy, puts her hand on his shoulder, and like, I'm with him. And obviously, you kind of feel that tension already. And I'm just like, whoa, this has just got even more weird. I'm like,
that's the thing,
I'm beside this guy's hand, like, shit. Like, I don't know what to do. So obviously, I stop, like, talking to at this point because I'm like, there's clearly some sort of tension here and I don't want to make it worse. And honestly, I don't know what the situation is, and this is my professional business. Like, I don't want anything to kick off. I've got a room full of customers and my girl's working here. So my next steps need to be calculated. So obviously, I just stopped talking to him. She bends that, like, has her hand on his shoulder. Hi, he's not responding. Now he looks pissed off that she's here. He doesn't respond. She goes, why are you being rude? And then he doesn't respond still. So she sits down on the bench waiting for him. So obviously I'm trying to get his manicure done. Get out.
I'd have just cut his nails and sent him on his way. You know?
So anyway, finish it. There was no issue.
In.
He's not mentioned anything about messaging me. And then as she's leaving and closing the door, you can tell she's pissed off because she goes, you're lucky I didn't. And then that was it. Now, 3 weeks after, someone rings it. And bear in mind, I didn't get his number because he just walked in. We just told him, I'll come back in half an hour. Someone can do you then. After he's gone, the whole, like, everyone who sat there, like, oh my God, that's like, everyone felt the tension, like, that was weird. And then that's when I looked through, and obviously on his Instagram, there's no pictures of him. So I've had to Google his Instagram name and seen a picture of what he looks like. And I'm like, yep, it's him. So obviously, I also noticed as well, we stopped following each other. Yeah. So I seen that he's typed in my Instagram name and he's watching every single one of my stories from that day. So obviously, I've just blocked him. About 3 weeks later, someone rings in, can I come in for a manicure? Giving me his name, giving me his number. Obviously, I'm not going to assume every man's this guy. So he comes in, it's him. So he's back for another manicure.
This is some restraining order shit now.
Yeah. So then,
big man thing.
But this is where it's confusing though, because I said to Glenda,
never in my life.
No, check this. I said to Glenda, like, how can you get a restraining order when
he's not done anything?
He's actually all he's done is booking as a customer, have a bit of a girl drama, and try to message the owner.
But like it snowballs, doesn't it? That's where it starts.
I know, but from a police perspective,
this is all
also, I heard. So this is like after that second time he's come for. Oh, during the manicure, he was being weird as well. Obviously, again, I'm doing small talk. How are you? What are you doing? Like, are you doing anything after the appointment? He goes, no, nothing at all. And he asked me what I'm doing. Fair enough, I'm going to the gym. What are you doing after the gym? So then it's just like, oh, for fuck's sake. So I've had to make up a story. I'm chilling with my girls. Like, I'm really tired. Like, I ain't got no energy at all.
I just said, I'm going to go see my boyfriend in the closet for 12 hours straight. So
then he's like picking up his phone and then he goes, so I'm free on Wednesday, Thursday. Voice noting someone. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Like, I'm thinking, right, okay, I get the point. You're free every fucking week. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, so he leaves again. No, nothing said. Obviously, I've blocked him on Instagram, so he can't, like, see any of my socials. But then a couple of days after, I'm hearing loud music banging outside the window. And it's a busy main road outside my salon. So I've turned and I've looked. It's only this guy in his car breaking his neck to, like, look into the salon. And obviously, I've looked at him eye to eye, and I'm like, God dang it. He thinks I'm interested now. But then at that point, that's when I thought, you know what? Maybe I should report it because
Yeah, I would.
He's not respecting my
But
boundaries.
what would
I've
you-
told
what
him
would
no
you be-
twice. I've
what would you
blocked him.
report?
He's now coming in. But that's what I mean. That's why I had
Do you know what I feel like though? I feel like you
Just raising the
reporting.
awareness.
I feel like
Get
just
me
telling
simple.
your family
I feel
members
like
is enough,
making
so
a
like we
report
know
like
now, innit?
that
That's it.
is what makes officers look back and he's like, darling, you were making a report for a guy who's not.
But then you're also
Like,
told
then
to
it
report
might,
a
there might
pattern
be
of
something
behaviour.
else that he's done.
What they
do you know what I mean?
do when like
She
time
said
goes
do
on
do.
and when time goes on and like things like God forbid
So
and things escalate,
yeah.
they'll be like, well, why didn't you say anything?
exactly, and that's
Also,
what I was
you might
thinking.
not be the only person. Like,
That's
you
what I'm
report him,
saying.
then you find out 5 other girls have reported him for stalking. Now it's looking a bit
Now,
weird.
now I get that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't
Also,
know.
just to have on track record. 'cause
pattern of behaviour.
Exactly, a pattern of behaviour.
I've noticed this certain things, and then I spoke to a client who actually works in probation, and she went, unblock him. I went, why the fuck would I unblock him? She's like, because at least then you can screenshot every interaction, and I'm like, listen.
But you're not going to interact with him again, are you?
Exactly, but
I
then
feel
if
like-
he's going out of his way to then look at me and like after being blocked, do you know what I mean? It's
I feel
showing
like
his
creating
kind of
fear though. So it's like nothing technically has happened. Obviously something could happen, but you're creating fear of it.
Yeah.
Realistically, what I heard in that was a lot of you catering for his needs. Yo, from when he come in there and a weird,
Yeah, I would-
sorry
yeah.
mate,
Kick him out.
this
Spin
this
out.
energy that I'm receiving at the moment is a bit weird. Can you and your missus leave the shop?
Yeah.
Boom. Like you catering for it. Make him know that don't come back to this shop, mate. Don't be
But
sitting
then you have
outside.
that freeze. What I'm talking about, I think the point comes to, as a woman, I don't know if you guys have the same experience, but I freeze when I'm in a situation where I feel uncomfortable. Even if it's someone touching my son's hair, I feel uncomfortable with that interaction.
Don't touch
I'm
my
not.
child's head.
Nah, it doesn't go like that because there's something called I think they call it freeze or fawn, and it's a
Yeah.
response, and it is a trauma response, and it means actually you lose your voice and you lose your balls because you're trying to protect, you're trying to survive, and you feel that if you say something in that moment, there's a possibility things could go sideways, and then
Yeah,
you're in
yeah.
danger. So you're trying to protect the peace by accommodating a situation that makes you feel uncomfortable, even though you might not be
And that's the
instantly
thing with men. You
unsafe.
don't know how rude to be.
This is all I'm trying to say, is that there is a response where if you're in a situation, sometimes putting up and shutting up feels like the safest option.
Yeah.
And it is like a survival instinctive thing. So I feel like we've got a consensus on that as women. Like the freeze thing is real. And to anyone who's experienced trauma or feels like they've been through something where they're not sure how to identify that situation, if you've been clear with your intention, and if that is not a yes, then that's assault. Like if someone has come on your body or done something to you that is not something that you wanted and you've expressed that, it is rape. It's end of. Can we just get comfortable with using these words? Sexual assault and rape are real, and the more that we're taught to silence that for our own safety, the more it's going to happen. So it is important to raise it as women. It's important that if something's happened, I do feel like it's important to make people aware so it's less likely to happen to other women. It's not easy, but it's something we need to do. And also, as I've got older, I've put myself in less situations where that's likely to happen, but that's because I've got experience. So I feel like these conversations is about educating the younger generation of women to be cautious, because when you're younger, it's like you're going to have less money. You're going to be more open to going to an after party with these guys because they're driving and they've got this and they're doing that.
Really
And
assess the risks because you don't know the consequences. Like when you're younger, you're not thinking about the consequences.
you're thinking about the benefits,
Yeah.
free
Yeah.
alcohol,
Yeah.
yard party.
Even a message to like men as well. If you look at this, everything that we've said, it's not. Obviously, I've been just listening most of the past couple of minutes, and it's been quite interesting to hear. But as a man, seeing all of this, you need to like take away something from it, and that's more towards being careful when you are in these situations.
Yeah.
If girls are being nice to you, 9 times out of 10, they might not actually want you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Also,
And
check
it's-
your friends as guys. Like, I feel like they let a lot of.
Oh, I think we do.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I think guys let a
100%.
lot of questionable behaviour from their friends.
Not in our
aside.
circles.
Then that's
Yeah.
that friendship
Not in our
group. That's
circles,
that whole
mate.
No,
group.
you're right.
Not in
Our circles, you get
Yeah.
trust me.
Well, look at rare.
Yeah.
My man can't
Yeah.
even come in the area.
Wow.
You're out of the postcode now.
Left
You
for
see
dead.
you you know what it
Left
is.
for dead.
It's kind of like the analogy, isn't it? Like you go to someone's house and
facts, bro.
you say, at first you might have wanted a cup of tea, but you change your mind. You don't want the cup of tea anymore. What you're going to do, force that person to have a cup of tea? No means no. Just
no means no.
If you're confused, anyone, just think, if that person doesn't want the cup of tea, don't give him the cup of tea.
Right.
Maybe have a conversation beforehand about whether that...
I feel like that's what we don't do, is we don't
Yeah.
communicate, because I was seeing someone a while ago, my first relationship my first encounter since, I left my previous relationship, it was like, I'd not been like sexually active, and I was a bit. I know that I've got sexual trauma, because things have happened, and I've tried to overcome that. But the guy just came out of nowhere, and he like put his hands around my neck, and he was saying like, "I'm not going to stop even if you want me to."
Oh,
and he started coming up with this like rapey chat, even though it started off consensual, and I'm in it.
So
He
it's some sort of fetish to him.
He started getting like. Holding me down and saying all these things like, I'm not going to stop even if you want me to, and I'm thinking, bro, that's triggering to me, because right now I want to go to your kitchen, get a kitchen knife and finish you. Don't say that to me, because my brain's going into protection.
Also, he might not know the trauma attached to it.
Right.
But then at the same time,
Also, that's just a rapey thing to say.
That's not good. And I told him, I said to him, I didn't like that.
How many times have you been told to choke someone like that?
Yeah, but that's when you've had that conversation. He knows that I've got sexual trauma, because I told him, don't open the bottle of wine. Don't open the bottle of wine. You know, I've told him, I gave him a warning.
So obviously something happened. I was seeing this girl, and something similar happened, but obviously it was like she wanted me to choke her and that. But then when I was, all of a sudden she's pushed me off her, and she's jumped up out of my bed, and she just started crying. And I was like, wait,
shit, what did I do?
Yeah, I was like, yo, what? And I allowed the whole thing for me is dead from there. Like, we'll just chill now.
Yeah,
like, for me,
you can't go back.
For me, we're just gonna chill now.
Yeah, 100%.
And do you know what? We just chilled the whole night, and we spoke.
But then that's on your mind, isn't it? Like,
but you know what? Obviously, because I understand more than a lot of people would think. Like, I actually just took the time just to speak to her and that, and then like the following week just went out and did nice things together, and then we actually never slept together ever again. It kind of did put me off, I'm not gonna lie, but it didn't stop me from being a friend to her, you know what I mean? And obviously we're still on good terms, still good friends and whatnot, but that was a mad experience.
She asked you for it.
That was a mad.
I've had someone try spit in my mouth without checking it was okay. Also, how fucked up is this? During foreplay, why are you trying to spit in my mouth during foreplay?
No.
Guys, we're gonna have to pin this.
I'm sorry, my son needs me.
Like, if it's that
to be continued. Now stop.
Absolutely not.
Stop it.
in foreplay.
Not the same temperature. That's what gets me. It's cold. It's not the right temperature. You can't spit in my mouth. It's not the same.
We're also not putting down anyone.
Yeah, but we do have to wrap up.
Oh, sorry, I'm not saying I'm against. Oh, but let me just.
Even worse, I had a girl spit in my mouth.
I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm saying why would you start off sex that way?
In the club, I had a girl
starting off.
I had a girl spit in my mouth in the club, bro.
I thought he was going to kiss me.
Oh, no, that's a fight.
Dirty.
I'm judging.
No, was this close?
I'm judging. That's disgusting. Right, guys, I feel like we've shared a lot today. Yeah. We've come through a lot of serious conversations. We've had a lot of banter. I feel like the dynamics have been high. The guys have got their flowers.
Like he picked up the flowers there.
Female chivalry is not dead. Thank you, Glenda. Well, my son is waiting for me, so I want to thank everybody that has come on today and shared their experiences, their views, and there's always room for us to come back and reconnect in the room. Thank you. Glenda, Molly, Simone, Aaron, and Otis.
Thank you for everyone being so vulnerable.
Thank you. I know. I love that. Thank you so much.
Who needs them?